Hey there, Silver Tongue Devil here, and in this stream we're going to be doing it all again for the tournament, but on the PICO this time. PICO confirmed, because look, can see the room. So we're going to be looking at the tournament as far as the PICO is concerned. Unfortunately, things have been a bit balked today, but everything still seems to be running, so I can't go through the rules. Not that I was going to anyway. This is all trying to be about technique and what to do and slow time abuse and so on. Probably won't be doing a lot of scoring within this, but I'm going to try and explore as much as I can and explain as much as I can as far as the scoring as is concerned. So let's get in there and start pulling it apart. And hello, Tomo. And oh, hello, Tim. How we doing, mate? So again, as I said, for you questies, it's going to be a lot of sucking eggs. But that's not the purpose of the video. Purpose is for the PICO people. They don't know. They don't know what we know. So, and if we get anyone in the chat asking, I'm expecting all of you guys to jump in and answer before I even can. Because you know how I don't like the sound of my own voice, and I hate having to explain things. So, Fletcher, how does this mode work? First and foremost, the better profile you have in the main game will have a small effect on some things that you do within the tournament. One of them is that extra peg of armor by having incubi, abolish the incubi to level 3. Doesn't look like it means a lot, but it kind of does, because that's one extra life. I know you can't replenish it or anything, but one extra life could be the difference between you finishing a level or not, or getting those last few kills to up your score. The other one that I think is quite important as well is the one that involves killing the hundreds of orphans, so that you get the additional get the additional health bonuses from picking up Blood of the Lambs. So for instance, on this profile I've got it up to maximum level, so when I get to the boss and get the opportunity to pick up a heal, there is a 30% chance that it will be a double. You're only going to get chance to heal across the tournament 6 times, 6 individual occasions, so that's 6 30% chances. You would like to think on an average run that you would get a double life hit once every time you complete a boss. So we can kind of factor that into life loss. So I will start with what I think, because normally I start with how to score. I'll start with what I think is the biggest thing in this game. Now, if you think slow time... I know none of you guys think that slow time is cheating. If you think slow time is cheating, doors that way, mate. Slow time is a massive, massive part of this game. And to explain it in its thoroughties, that's a word, when you hold the quiver select button, which has kind of been dubbed the slow time button because it gets used more for slow time than it does for actually selecting arrows, and you do that with either the X button or the Y button on the control pad that you are holding your weapon in. So for me it's Y or X. Puts the game into slow time. Now, a couple of things with that. You can only put the game into slow time when you can bring up your quiver select. You can only bring up your quiver select when you are not drawing an arrow. If I try and quiver select now, in Fletcher it wouldn't do anything. In the actual game it does cycle through your special arrows. Oh, and also hello Op, I can't remember if I said hi. No, you're quite right. The thing is, cheating is when you would put a code in to get X amount of money, or something that would generate a free arrow or up your score or something along those lines. What an exploit would be doing something like taking advantage of a bug. What I would class abusing slow time is cheesing the game. We are using a mechanic that is fully intended to be used I'm probably one of the worst offenders for it, and I use it all the time as often as possible because it's infinite use. Why wouldn't you? So many games you get slow time, but it's on a bar, or you're only allowed it for so long. But here we get it all the time. So one of the things to note here as well, hello Indy. Minus 40% score. Good spot, Indy. Just like a puzzle game that thumbnail was. So, note here I have my slow time on, and everyone is in slow time. If I hold it for longer than 5 seconds, everyone comes out of slow time. This is why you need to keep on reapplying slow time, so it's on and back on again. And if you keep doing that, every time you let go of the button and then press it again, you reapply slow time each and every single time. And the other thing to note as well is when you draw an arrow and fire it, you can again put the game into slow time whilst it lands. But note, when it lands and I get teleported, I get pulled out of slow time. So what you need to do is what I do when you are jumping. Needles kind of is an exploit, I guess. But then I suppose you could consider it as cheesing because it was doing what the developers intended. I just happened to find it during a tournament. So remember, with your teleport arrows, we can slow time whilst the teleport arrow is landing, but you have to reapply it when the teleport arrow lands. This is why when I teleport, you'll see me doing this. Tap, 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 hold again. And then I'm nice and slow time for when I land. If you fire it and hold slow time, that guy's not in slow time and I'm still holding the button. So that should hopefully explain slow time. And basically, when you are not throwing an arrow, you should be in slow time. There's no reason not to be. And reapplying it all the time, because why not? One of the things that I can say about slow time as well is using it when you are not in danger. As far as Fletcher is concerned, it allows me to have a look around and take stock. I now know there's 2 guys down there. I'm still, if I keep my hand in front of me, you'll see how much I'm using it. And there's a guy there chucking axes at probably the bats. Oh look, these bats, they're coming in. They'll be arriving anytime soon. These monks, they're probably going to think about firing about me sometime soon. The bats are still coming in. And look over here, we've got some monks over there as well. And there's a knight. I've even got time to duck. So if you can use slow time and thoroughly abuse it, you can literally put the game into a crawl. Now, it's worthwhile doing that in any mode, because what's the chances of you being panicked in a game like this, where you can die incredibly fast, if everything is a snail's crawl at a snail's pace? So it is constant abuse of that button. I feel like I need to emphasize this a lot. I can even make my shots easy. I'm pointing that at that guy. Now, I can't engage slow time. He'll probably hit me. I can't engage slow time when I draw, but I can slow time him. You can even step out of the way of that. Look at that. Brilliant, isn't it? And then a quick shot and back into slow time again. And then a quick shot and a back into slow time again. Quick shot back into slow time. Quick shot back into slow time. Teleport and I'm tapping. And then back into slow time. And then a quick shot and I'm back into slow time. And the reason why you do this at these stages, well, we want to be getting headshots, because headshots is how we score in this tournament, but also in the game. And I plan on making that as easy as bloody possible. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm not going to engage enemies at anything, if I can help it, past that range, because I know that I can get headshots at that range very easily. Now, This range is more difficult. And the other thing that you've got to remember as well is you are constantly changing arrows in this mode, constantly changing special arrows. And some arrows fire like a normal arrow. Some arrows fire and they are weighted, so they have a heavier arc. And some arrows, like this one, are lighter, so they have a much shallower arc. And the problem with that then is, even if you are the best shot in the world, you need to be the best shot on the world on every single arrow type and be able to accommodate for and differentiate between each and every arrow type and its properties. Like, I was lucky to get that. Look how high that hit him in the head. And that's because of the angle of the arrow. You've got some arrows that behave like that teleport arrow, and then you've got some that you can do exactly the same with, and it will absolutely fly. So we want to make sure, quite right, Op. Now, we want to make sure that that is not a factor, and we do that, again, slow time, slow time. You're going to hit me, are you? Okay, I'll get out of the way of it then. And then I'm tapping to get him where I want him and set up the shot. And then I'll do it again. Tap, 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 tap. I want him about there. And then take my shot and I'm back into slow time again. Hello to you. You missed, didn't you? How embarrassing. And shot and back into slow time again. And this is the other benefit of me doing all of this slow time, is things that are going on around me are also happening in slow time. And again, I can assess the situation now and go where I want to. So this is an example of a heavy arrow. And even if I try and make the headshot, okay, I did get it, but there was three opportunities there. That heavier arc means that even I had to aim off. Part and parcel of this game is staying consistent. The way you get good at aiming is making everything the same. So my draw length, how much I draw my arrow, is always full, is always the same. I have an anchor point that I go back to. Oh, that was actually really nice scoring there. I think that was 2 headshots on the bats. Lovely. So consistency is key. Now, because we can't get consistency out of these different special arrows, then we have to make consistency by making sure that every shot ends up like that. Oh, that's right through the mouth. God, we could pick those 3 arrows up and spin him around on a Barbie. Anyway. So again, this one, heavy arrow, I'm going to tap, tap, tap until he turns to where I want him. The other thing that slow time allows you to do as well is take stock of what arrow's coming up next. Now, I know from playing the game too much, playing Fletcher too much actually, what all the arrows look like, because I don't use all the arrows in the main game. And by knowing what all the arrows look like, I don't have to look at this. But I do occasionally, and the part and parcel is because I've got the time to do it. And look, constantly in slow time. Ooh, I'm trying to teach down here. Constantly in slow time. It also allows us, if we time it right, to make sure that we're out of the way of shots. So it can also improve your survivability, because you can be slow time, tap, 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 until he fires the shot. Then you hold it and simply step in your play space. Ooh, where's that? There he is. So slow time is the big factor. Another thing with Fletcher as well, and as I said, part of the reason why we're getting close is so we don't miss the shots. It is perfectly acceptable to go for body shots, because you can actually get, if you are quick, quite a good executioner bonus just by killing everything to the body. However, we can multiply our score again by making sure that we are killing with headshots. You've got to hit them, the enemies, with arrows that are actually pointed for it to count as a headshot. There are 2 arrows that are not pointed. One of them is Cupid's Wrath, and there's 2 variations of that. The other one is Tempest. Now, although that's not a pointed arrow, you still actually can get headshots with it. And that's technically not true. All arrows are pointed. Some of them, the explosion goes off before the point could dig in, so it counts as a kill, but not a headshot. So one of the other things to note as well that was a recent change, like for instance, we scored nothing for that guy other than the gold. And because we've probably killed quite a lot of enemies in quick succession, we might have got a handful of points in Executioner. The other thing to note in this game as well is there are also 2 arrows that you can either cycle or use at a much longer range, because you don't need to worry about missing with them. Not because they're homing, but because Cupid's Wrath and Divine Sight don't count. They don't need to hit. I can put all 5 of those shots into the floor and I don't lose life. Now, Fletcher didn't used to be that way. That was something that was added to Fletcher by Superbright. Not even ourselves. We didn't ask for it. But everyone was moaning that the homing arrows sometimes just go off wherever they want to, even at point blank shots. And so to counter that, they made it so that Divine Sight and Cupid's Wrath do not count. So like for instance, any other arrow that I plant into the ground, I take damage for. Any arrow that is Divine Sight or Cupid's Wrath, I do not lose life from. So I can then make use of those arrows at a really long range in the hope of trying to score headshots with something like Divine Sight. Or I can use things like Cupid's Wrath. If I don't want to kill an enemy with a Cupid's Wrath, I can bin it into the ground to get rid of it, so to speak. But Cupid's Wraths are a very good arrow. You want to be trying to get headshots on everything, but Cupid's Wraths are particularly awesome for clearing groups of bats. So another arrow that is actually quite good as well is Hail of Arrows, because you can up your range a little bit knowing that you've got 3 chances, because Hail of Arrows obviously fires 3 shots. Same with Hellfire. You can then go for some really long range headshots if you wanted to, but that's more of an advanced thing, and that's not how I score either. That's just a little caveat, little extra. Sorry, 2 seconds, I was on a tirade. Adding more slow time to Fletcher is improved. And this is Michael Fish, one of the top players in the game. And even he's saying adding slow time. Like, for instance, if I wanted to up, and he's quite right, if I wanted to up my crossbow game, I need to add slow time to my crossbow game. Sorry, pal. I need to add slow time to my crossbow game because I don't use a lot of slow time the way that I play with the old gunslinger style. But what I do now is that I start adding that when I get to a higher level. So move and slow time. One of the other things that I found as well is do not fire shots in quick succession at an exorcist. You have to kind of hit him, hit something else if he hasn't died, and then come back to him. The amount of pass-through that I've had on that fucking Swede of his is absolutely ridiculous. He's one of the worst enemies for pass-through. Yeah, the only problem, that was a Divine Sight. Note how it missed, and we didn't take damage. Yeah, on the crossbows, I think slow time, that might be as much my fault as anybody else's. If you've been doing if you've been embracing the old gunslinger style that I've said about to get people into the swing of things on crossbow. Because the thing is, the terrible truth about playing the crossbow in gunslinger where you rapid fire it is that precision is lacking, and you can't really do slow time if you are rattling off the shots on the old crossbow in that style. But you can keep the positioning and use slow time and pick your shots, but you then have to get quite accurate hip firing with the crossbow. What I find myself doing is loading my arrow, putting the game into slow time, and then putting the crossbow into enemies' heads that are only going to take 1 headshot, or I'm playing in Fletcher. That's something that I'll demonstrate in a bit as well. So So hopefully, I'm trying to keep my arm up. Every time you see my arrow come up, but I'm not drawing it, it is because I am holding the button and I am in slow time. And so we're back into slow time. Now, that was a stupid shot because I couldn't really get a headshot at that distance, and it's going to probably blow everybody up as well. See if we can not get passed through. So normally if I get a hit on an exorcist and it hits him in the head, I'll then make a point of targeting something else. Note how I've got a Cupid's Wrath. I don't want to kill anything with the Cupid's Wrath, so I'll dump it into the wall in the hope that the explosion doesn't kill anybody, and then I'm going to go back for that headshot, and then I'll put all the headshots in on him, and note the slow time, slow time, slow time, and this is on top of the fact that we're in a Hand of God bubble, and I'm just, you know, casually stepping out the side of arrows. It's a very simple and easy process. And what I did there, teleporting past, or we'll have your guys' heads, teleporting past an enemy and then letting it turn to face you, works on definitely on archers and also on knights sometimes, if you can get them before they start moving. Because now this cat's got to turn all the way around to face me, then he's going to square up, then he's going to think, you're going to have a think about, maybe you can hit me with that sword. You ain't got time to hit me with that sword. I'm sorry, but you just haven't, because it's slow time. There you go. So, and again, note the range that I am doing absolutely everything at. Now, I am a dab hand at this game. I can play this game. I can hit long-range headshots. Don't ask Beanie. Sometimes. But I'm not even going to take the risk, because every single miss that I get is going to cost me life. So I want to make every shot as easy as possible so that I cannot miss it. So if you are firing at anything past, like if that's your enemy, if you're firing at anything past that range, as far as I'm concerned, you're doing it wrong. You won't be able to get as far because you cannot be as consistent as somebody like me abusing slow time and being really, really close. So we've pretty much cleared this area now. We've got a couple of headshots. We haven't done it particularly fast. I would personally say don't bother with bat headshots unless they're stragglers left at the end of a level. Because again, they are a very difficult shot. You want to use your slow time until they flare and then swoop down at you and then come directly at you. On the PICO, the hitbox for the head seems to be correct. The hitbox on the quest seems to be on the chin of the bats. I know that's a very small area, and that's part of the reason why it's a very difficult headshot. But they are doable, they are gettable, and your best bet is when they swoop down and come towards you, that's where your headshot will be. So, I didn't do that particularly well. Probably didn't get anywhere near as many headshots as I could have done. Lost quite a lot of life, all things considered. But I would still get in the top 10, I think. Yeah, probably get in the top 10 on the PICO leaderboards just through doing that one level. And that's more to do with headshots than the executioner bonus. That is something that I will go through soon. So, we've covered slow time. We know about slow time. I've covered what arrows you can get away with doing other things with. So, I'll cover strategy next, and then we'll look at executioner bonus. Because the strategy for levels, or the way that I do it, will lead into the executioner bonus. The executioner bonus is for killing enemies in quick succession. And the beauty of the executioner bonus is you can be scoring executioner points at the same time as getting those headshots, which goes towards your marksman score. Both elements add up to give you your grand total, and on top of all of that is gold. So, like, for instance, my score at the moment will be this plus this, I think. Pretty sure that's correct. I don't think it accommodates gold within your score right away. No, of course it wouldn't, because you can spend gold, can't you? So, strategy-wise, between sections, have a little rest, have a little break, have a little bit of think about how you're going to kick ass on the next section. You might be right, Al. You might be right. But that's because this is part and parcel of the reason why I've made a point. Like, normally I would just slink around on the leaderboards and let other people have the glory. But, kind of like I'm doing on the quest boards a little bit, and also because lazy. And also because I didn't know there was unlocks. But then one of the things that I thought many, many weeks ago was, well, how will people know how to get the top scores if they don't know who they need to beat and who's telling them? So I thought, well, yeah, then I need to kind of be at the top of every leaderboard to kind of advertise myself and help encourage people get on the game. So, yes, yeah, I think you're quite right, but they're coming round. I tell you what, it will make me immensely happy when people start passing me on those leaderboards, and I hope it's because of what they're, little bits and pieces they get from me. It's the greatest gift that I can be given. That's why I do what I do. So, as far as the sections are concerned, this is what I would... So we're all on the same terms as far as terminology is concerned. Each of these areas here I would call a section. So you have 3 actual sections across Desolation, just like you have 3 across Purgatory, and then you have like an end section, which is kind of the level but kind of not. Because on Desolation the runways between sections is so long, you might as well have a breath, have a rest, have a breather, and not try and rush from one area to another, because you are not going to be able to keep hold of your executioner bonus from one area to another. Or if you are going to be rushing yourself, and you don't want to rush yourself in Fletcher. That's where you'll that's where you will make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, there are ways that you can keep your executioner bonus from one island or from one section to another. But I don't think it's worth playing for, because you have to play out of your skin, knacker yourself, and you can't do it very consistently. Or at least I can't anyway, so I don't try to. And to be fair, I haven't had to yet either, But then the other thing as well is it gives me other avenues and other ways and means to score and increase my score if I wanted to. So what I do is I have a breather between sections, and whilst I'm having that breather, take assessment of your situation. How much life have I got left? What arrow is coming up next? Where are the enemies in this next section? Or if you're a little bit more advanced and you've seen the sections before and you know which section is which, then you want to know which section you're going to be playing so that you can go to the hotspots and get a lot of kills fast. So I make a point of staying. And the thing is, if you are moving, killing, doing lots of headshots and moving fast in one section, why wouldn't you want to be at your freshest for the next section? That's one of the problems that you have on Siege of Heaven, is everybody, after, myself included when I haven't been playing it for a while, everybody's arm is ready to drop off after about wave 12, 13, or on your second attempt or whatnot. Well, why not have a breather? And again, you should be doing the same in Siege of Heaven as well. It's like, between waves, well, there's a shop. You don't need to have your arm up during the shop, and you're not on the clock. You don't need to start the next level straight away. So have your rest, have your breather, have a slug of water, relax, take it all in. It's a beautiful level. It's lovely. It's lovely in Desolation. So, hello, Fee. Yeah. I to be fair, it's going to be easier for me to get that level 12 bow on the PICO than it is on the quest version. So I'm going to make sure that all of my scores are in line and in order on the PICO first, and then I'll have a look at the quest one. Anyway, even though I have got more points on the quest version, it'll be easier to harvest points from from season to season on PICO. So I do fully intend on having the highest legend ranking and points on both versions. So we've assessed, we've had a look. Now, what am I looking for? The thing that I want to be near when I go into a new section on this is bats. And the reason being is not because I want to shoot them with a standard arrow. I want to shoot them ideally with the Cupid's Wrath, or stick a curse in an enemy near them, not the actual bats. Bats take too long to try and take out, and the headshot is difficult. Bats are really hard. They're not they're not an enemy that I want to have to go through and kill. They're ones that I want dying in the background. And because they're in swarms, usually if you kill one with something explosive or poisonous or cursy, then it'll kill them all. And this all goes on to your executioner bonus, which is going to be the next section that we're going to cover. So what's the executioner bonus? Well, let's do a little bit first so I can show you, because I've been talking for ages, I feel. I mean, it's never usually a problem. So again, I'm still going to use a lot of slow time, but what I'm going to try and do here is kill things quickly. The easiest way to kill things quickly is actually to shoot them in the head, because even some of the arrows and especially the effects will not go. Look, I don't often stumble on my words, K2, but thanks for pointing that one out. So, hey, cursy's a word, right? So, as far as this guy's concerned, he hasn't seen us. I want to start my account. I want to start my killing with this guy. And I know that there's a group of bats over there. And basically what I'm going to do is when I kill this guy, it starts a 10-second time. Thanks, K2. I start a 10-second timer when I kill the first enemy if I haven't killed anything for a while. That timer does not exist within the game. You just have to imagine it. That timer is affected by slow time, so you can slow your executioner timer by using slow time. So we want to be fast, but we also want to be using slow time a lot. And that would look something like this. So I'll try and do it in as real time as possible. And so I'm going to make use of my time here and have a look at the situation that I've just put myself in. I know there's enemies up there. There's a swarm of bats. Well, hand of God, this guy, divine sight. That is a great arrow for taking out bats. So I'm going to take out the bats. Again, note the slow time. This is shit for bats. I'm going to find something else to kill. Hi guys, how you doing? Oh, I should have known that explosion was going to go off. Oh well. So this is one of the problems that you can have whilst you are trying to go fast. You want to be racing against the effects that are going to kill enemies before they go off. Yeah. Right. Cupid's Wrath. Let's go and see if there's any bats left over. No, there's not. Okay. Now there are bats over here. And this is what we want the Cupid's Wrath for. That's got lots of them. That should get the rest. Nope. Thank you, Divine Sight. Every shot hit a fucking rock. And let's skip past this guy. Steady on, fellas. Again, abusing slow time. Ah, missed. To the nines. Should have been a bit more precise there. Now, I've got to be careful of the fact that he's got cataclysms in him, and there is an incursion here as well. I need to be hyper aware of these things and use my slow time to take stock of these situations. You will lose a lot of life. Oh, I thought that was a live one. You will lose a lot of life by doing exactly what I've been doing here. I lose it because I'm trying to race effects. You'll probably lose it because you don't realise that you've got an arrow in the ground because you've hit the guy in the face. Then he drops to the ground. The explosion effects are still on the stack. They're still in existence. Now, this isn't very fast. Or at least it doesn't look very fast. Ah, this is why I hate this level. Absolutely hate this level for that. Go on, dig in. No, missed. Mistakes like this will cost you. So, let's make sure. So, one of the things that I would say as well is, just because you mess up on the executioner side of things. So, what I was doing there is, I killed that guy, went up the top, killed a load of bats, killed another guy up here, came back down, finished off the bats. At that point, I reckon my executioner timer would have been at about 16, maybe 17 seconds. So it starts off at 10 on your first kill, and then every kill thereafter adds +1 to your executioner timer. Whilst you are using slow time, that affects your executioner timer, so it slows the timer down. So again, you want to be doing a combination of being quick but using slow time to slow the clock down. As far as the executioner bonus is concerned, and again, we can't really prove this, we can only go off of what we're told, but this is all the information that we've been told. We've been told that the kill amount caps out at 20 kills, and at 20 kills, after every kill at 20 plus, you're getting about the same amount of points as you would be for doing that. A headshot. So if you are at the 20 kill mark and still got your executioner bonus going and you're doing headshots, instead of just getting the at this range about 280 points I think it is, then plus the gold, and that's any, this is another point I'll add as well, different enemies do not confer different points. Different enemies do confer different amounts of gold, but it's only minute. Different enemies do not contribute to different amounts of points. That's Siege of Heaven. In this mode and the main mode and every other thing that's not Siege of Heaven, a headshot is a headshot and worth the same amount. The only thing that changes the headshot amount is the distance. So this is another reason why the executioner bonus is really good as well. You just have to stay on top of the kills. You don't have to worry about distance. We want to do both. Right, so my 10-second time would start here, but I can't see any enemies, and I know they're all downstairs. I don't want to race downstairs with my 10-second timer going. I want to start the 10-second timer down there. So maybe I'll go and hang out in a tree. I can't hang out in trees anymore. Oh. You used to be able to get in the trees. I think I whinge about this every time I play. Come on. Come on. You can get up this high, why can't I go in the tree? Well, I could get in the tree, but I'm not going to dick around. Right, so, with that little bit of dicking around, my 10-second timer should have finished. I haven't been using slow time to make sure that it has. I want my first kill, when I'm going to go and try and go for executioner bonus and headshots, to be made down here. And also, because it's my first kill that I'm concerned about, I want to take it at an opportune moment. This isn't really an opportune moment, because he's there and there's nothing for a little while. That's better, and I've got divine sight. This is a homing arrow, so I'll fire that off and quickly get down here, kill him, and again note my rubbish situational awareness. And I am slow time, headshot. Abominations are probably, unless you can catch them like that, one of the worst enemies to get the headshot on, because their heads are small and they wiggle a lot. Now he's riddled with explosive arrows, so go for something else, because we're not going to be able to kill him in time before that goes off. And again, I'm not even moving that fast. The one thing I will say though is to the enemies I am. This is ideal. We don't want to kill them with this because we'll just get kills for it, not headshots. So I'll dump that in there. You can still end up killing enemies doing that, but you don't want to. That will go for. Again, another Cupid's Wrath. I could finish that guy off. I'd rather dump, jump, and hit. And hit. Headshot. I do often find it's the explaining that gets me my misses usually. In this situation though, I probably want to keep my executioner timer going. So putting that in there. And I was also quite close to enemies, so they're most likely going to get killed anyway. So note again as well, headshot. I get gold for a headshot, I get a score for a headshot. If I can quickly get another headshot in before this cat burns, then that's double points. But it's a little bit slower than just going straight for the kill. The other thing to note as well, notice what happens when I hit a shield. doesn't count as a miss, counts as a hit, but doesn't take anything from the enemy. And a Hellfire to finish up proceedings. So that's another thing to note as well. If you have got an absolutely garbage arrow, but you are confronted, basically Holy Light, but you are confronted with an enemy that has a shield, use the shield to cycle your arrows to something better, because you don't want to be trying to hit heads with Holy Lights. It's fucking impossible sometimes. So again, so let's say for instance there's one left. We would say now that our executioner bonus is over, so now we just want to go around and pick up the stragglers. Another part of strategy within this tournament is that you don't have any stragglers. You want to have a route that goes past everything, all the hotspots, does, you know, make sure you have things like Cupid's Wrath and Divine Sight and Curses and Pestilence for the groups of bats, and then move past them. And then when you've killed everything that you can see up top, you want to be getting downstairs fast and do downstairs secondary. Now, there is another technique that I've practiced to see if there was that much difference in score, and that was herding all of the enemies downstairs upstairs, so that I could easily keep the executioner bonus going and not have to go downstairs to go and kill enemies. The only enemy that you then really need to kill down there is the exorcist. The problem is herding enemies upstairs is risky, and you can't defend yourself because the whole point is you're trying to not get hit. It's a very risky play, and I will say as well, I can go fast enough to go through an entire section and kill all of the enemies within the same executioner bonus above ground and below ground as I can above ground. One of the ways that you can do that is by knowing where these drops are. So instead of taking the stairs, you take the hole and go straight down and start killing everything. The problem is you also need to be aware of the routes here as well, and that there can be a couple of enemies on your way down. I would rather get straight down here using that hole to kill everything up here in this room after killing everything up there than coming down these stairs and getting the one or two enemies that I might miss. Again, one headshot, that's worth points. Another thing that I like to do with Divine Sights that are of a multi-variety is I try and hit them with the bottom arrow, or if you are a horizontal, try and hit them with the furthest out arrow. And the reason being is because you'll still get the headshot, but you'll get the other 4 arrows flying off, and there's a possibility that they'll hit other things and get headshots. Free ones, and hopefully at a distance. Worst case scenario, it'll go towards your executioner bonus. But I do find that if you've hit the enemies with a Divine Sight, the bottom one if you're vertical, or it might not work quite so well horizontally, but the bottom one if you're vertically, because the arrows are then being fired in an upward trajectory, they're likely to come down on enemies and hit them in the head. If they don't, well, you know, executioner bonus. But if they do, and they do so at a really long range, well, it's all extra points. It's all extra points, and that's what we want. So, again, not playing this particularly well at the moment, but that score would put me, like, definitely in the top 5, I think, or top 10, probably. And that's just through, like, you know, kind of dicking around and explaining it as I'm doing it. So, we've covered headshots. Headshots are how you score. We've covered the executioner bonus. You want to be doing both. You want to be killing quickly, and you want to be getting headshots. One of the things that I was thinking about the other day, if you can't get all the headshots, but you can kill quickly, would that be better? Technically, yes. Every single time that I have completed a run, or every score that I've put in, my executioner bonus is nearly always, or it is always higher than my marksman bonus, which is the points that you are getting for headshots. Why is that important? Well, that says to me that you get more points. It's easier to execute enemies and keep them in the execution chain than it is to get headshots. But the two do very much work in tandem, because more often than not, a headshot is a kill, whereas a body shot may not be. So think about going for your executioner bonus first and try and put as many headshots into that as you can to up score. Now, What else? What else? What else? What else? When you're chasing executioner... Sorry, when you're chasing... Sorry, I missed that, Mike. I was on a tirade again. But when you're chasing executioner, you can't... I'm trying to think what I said. It was ages ago. Don't know. So, I'm sure he'll clear it up for us if it needs clearing up. So... Again, I'm going to wait here. Part of the reason why I wait, and this will hopefully explain, is because, let's say, for instance, I did really well and had a really good executioner bonus going there, but it was coming down to its last couple of seconds. I want to make sure that my executioner bonus has stopped. And, well, actually, I want to have a breather, but it will make sure that my executioner timer is stopped. You will know if you have done well enough in one of those sections to get out and get here fast, but I have not been able to find consistent and good enough routes that will definitely allow me to carry my executioner bonus all the way through this. Or not yet, anyway. That's one of the ways, if I could find that would get my score up to 400 odd K. Oh, okay, got you. Cheers, Al. So I think it is better than, rather than taking the chance that you might have the executioner bonus going and rushing yourself, it is better to have a breather and assess the situation. So again, assessing here, I know there's enemies over there. I know this configuration. One of the things that I will actually add as well, because it's something that I never mention, the orange that is in the level signifies where the downstairs entrances are. So, for instance, that orange shining there would denote that there is an entrance to a downstairs area, somewhere around there. I know it's that little window that connects down to the bottom there. That orange area at the back is the orange light shining up from the stairs that are leading downstairs. Try and see if I can see another one. Can't at this range. We'll get a little bit closer and have a look. I'm very low on life, so I'm not going to try and put this all together yet. We'll do that in a minute. Make sure I've got more life before I do that. So, what am I thinking about doing here? Well, nothing's noticed me yet except that guy and everything else that's downstairs. Can I get up there? That'd be great, wouldn't it? Can I get up there, please? And even if you have been noticed, it doesn't matter too much. You can actually get quite deep into a level and still have a look around. And again, if you're abusing your slow time, I mean, sorry, pal, but I was over there ages ago, and you're still looking at turning to get me. I know that there is a bunch of bats here, so I want to be making kills on these guys in the attempt of getting an arrow that will deal with the bats. That will actually do it if the bats get that close. They might do. And again, headshot, headshot, headshot. Oop, missed that. Slow time, slow time, slow time. I'll use my hail of arrows on that guy, and then divine sight. And then, just in case that doesn't get them, I've got a Cupid's Wrath. Now, there is a bunch of bats over there. That might get them, but it'll probably kill him. I'll use those on those. That's killed all of those bats and got some other enemies. Now we'll try and get the rest of the headshots. It isn't actually a bad idea to freeze that guy because he's even wrigglier than an abomination. And you'll note that we now have a curse involved. As far as the curse is concerned, I want to be chasing that curse. So where it's going, I want to be going. Because it might hit an enemy that we don't want it to kill. We want to kill it with a headshot. Like, for instance, it's gone over there. So we'll kill him. That curse may now continue to something that we haven't seen, can't get. That was wasteful. We don't want effects killing enemies because effects killing enemies does not get us points. We want to do it with headshots. So I'm going to try and race the headshot on that guy there. I'm not going to kill him before the curse goes off, so you can have that. I am, however. So this is another thing as well. Stop it, I'm trying to demonstrate. So another thing that I found as well. There isn't an exact science to this, but I found that more often than not, if you fire your arrows off and up, you're more likely to get headshots. because the arrows come down. It is not by any means an exact science. Hello. And note how he drew his arrow, but because I moved to the side of him, he didn't fire. He had to, like, kind of have a think, have a pause, turn to face. See if we can get a headshot on this one. See? It's not an exact science. But that headshot is probably worth about 500 points, give or take, with the gold on top of it as well. And that's just another 100 points extra than a normal shot. We'd probably be best off dying here so I can demonstrate a section properly and do it properly and talk less. But let's see how far I can go on one life. Probably not very far. I always make a point of killing everything that's easy first and then dealing with the hard stuff afterwards. Ah, missed. Oh, double headshot. Lovely. Let's see if we can get some... Azure's Wrath isn't a bad one because it can kill a lot of those weak enemies that we don't want to have to deal with. Barrage of Needles is very much capable of headshots and should be a easier... Hello. Shot. Now that curse is going to go off and it's going to start killing enemies. Hopefully it goes after the abominations, which then leaves me to kill other things. Oh, good hit, sir. Good hit. Well, we wanted to die anyway. Oh, unable to construct FU text. Oh, good. So, that gives you an idea of what I'm doing. And to give you a breakdown of the score, Tithe Collector is the amount of gold that we've got. Gold, you get a small amount of gold for every headshot. You get a larger amount of gold for every kill, which differentiates differently on different enemies a bit differently. You have, so for instance, an Incubi or a Black Knight is worth a lot more gold than, say, an Abomination. However, there are also enemies that are worth just a little bit of gold and no other extra points. Skulls in the Abyss jump to mind. They're just worth a bit of gold. Although they are a floating head, they're not a headshot, so you don't get any points for them. You just get a bit of gold. Your gold is folded into your overall score, so you don't need to worry about Tithe Collector, but you do need to know that there is an achievement out there when you have it to top level, which will score you between an extra 14 and 17 gold per headshot that you make. So then you're making extra points on Tithe Collector, you're making extra points on Marksman for enemies that require multiple headshots, and then you've got the Executioner side of things again as well. What that score would tell me is, yep, I'm doing alright on the headshot side of things, but I am too slow. Executioner should be higher than Marksman at all times, really. Again, depending on your score and where you are and how you're going. We don't need to worry about Saviour. We don't need to worry about Pit Dweller. The only thing that I will say as well is it says on Marksman, scoring headshots from afar. That is not true. It is just scoring headshots. Distance increases the amount that you will get. So there is always a base amount of points that you will get. And those points... You get the same amount of points by killing an enemy if that flame is the enemy. You get the same amount of headshot points for killing an enemy there as you do for about there, I reckon. It's when you take another step back that you get a little bit more, and then another step back you get a little bit more, and then another step back you get a little bit more. And it's when you start getting to this sort of range is where you are getting like double the amount of points that you would get, if I can even hit the flame. Double the amount... No, I can't hit that flame now. No, lost it. I had it and then I lost it. So that's about double the amount of points. So again, in Fletcher mode, you are potentially doubling the points of one shot at the risk of your life. Nah, not worth it. Not worth doing. So I guess you probably want to see what that all looks like together, right? So what I will also attempt to do is, whilst I am doing it, I'll try and talk through my process. I did this I think, reasonably successfully last time. I'm not even going to try and put a score on the board because I don't want to risk making my score any higher by accident. So, class, is there anything that we don't understand? We've covered slow time in depth and in length. One of the things that I will say with slow time is Siege of Heaven and tournaments are a great time to practice your slow time and really get on top of it. And if you don't think you're using slow time enough, you probably aren't. Use it some more. Headshots wise, headshots are where we get our scoring for. Killing quickly is where we get our scoring from, but using slow time can extend that timer. So you don't even have to go that quick to get a decent executioner bonus. But if you can also go fast, and it's not fast as in rushing around and running around and being speedy, it's more to do with fast as in your decision making process of getting to enemies. You can increase your score that way no end as well. Right, let's see if we are unable to construct the F text. Back end E12 portal text, let's go. So, taking that through Desolation now, everything that I've just said. And what it'll look like, or what it should look like. So, again, I'm going to go up. I know I'm reasonably certain of the layout of this level, but if I can get up high and have a look now, remember that we need to be a certain range to the enemies, because if we're not close enough, they won't spawn in. But up here, we can get an idea, a bit of a lay of the land. We can see some orange over there, so we know that there's an entrance to downstairs there. There's some orange just in the background that you might be able to see, so there is an entrance to downstairs over there somewhere. Knowing where those points are where you want to be diving for when you think you've killed most of the stuff up top. Definitely both the swarms of bats. The swarms of bats will give you the extra seconds to kill the stuff within the same executioner bonus in the lower levels. So what I'm going to have a look at here is Hand of God. Now that is a good arrow, but it's not what we need. We're going to try and operate in this area until we get something to take out the bats. And we're literally going to dive between enemies. That wasn't a very good shot, neither was that. And I want to land right next to him, and I'm abusing slow time. And then I'll use one of those to step in, headshot on him. So we have begun. You can aim for the headshot there with a divine sight, knowing that it's most likely going to get the head, probably. That isn't good. We'll put one of those in. That might get the bats. Put one of those in there as well. This isn't working out so well. This is why RNG is a factor. Shouldn't really go for those, but hey-ho. Oh, we're not getting any explosive arrows here. Pestilence, that'll have to do. That'll kill all of those. Aim high on knights or any enemy with the tempests for the possibility of getting... I'm going to fire that off over there because there might be something... Yeah, that got bats. Lovely. There's the possibility that we might get something by doing stuff like that. And then this one, I'll fire that off into the level just in case there's anything out there. And we'll dive in now to the lower levels in the hope that we're keeping our executioner bonus going. Getting these guys quickly before they can turn is a good technique. And note how I'm trying to skip past these enemies as soon as I'm doing with them. As soon as the arrow is away, I'm looking for the next target. I don't want to kill things with that, so that can go there. That is a fantastic arrow. I don't think they'll go off. Let's get past this knight. Close the distance with him. If they're looking like they're going to jump, don't be afraid to go for a body shot. It would be better to go for a body shot in that scenario. Wait for you to stop and then headshot. No, missed you. It would be better for you to go for a easy body shot as opposed to a risky headshot. So that Hand of God could go in his shield, because then I don't even need to worry about making the headshot. Those might come back around. Yes, they did. You need to die also. Ah. Shots like that can cost you. Duck out the way of him. Incursion, let them get very close before you fire that one, and Holy Light. And in some circumstances, you might not even want to go for the headshot, like Holy Light, and you want to be like on top of them. And Hand of God, Barrage of Needles, that does a lot of the headshot work for me, but I still missed. Come on! This is actually, I'm going to have to say it, aren't I? This is, and now that I'll come back to why horizontal is potentially better than vertical for this mode. I know, right? Shock horror. Now, I'm still trying to be fast. I'm still trying to look around just in case there's one or two enemies that I might have missed, and I don't think there is. So now I'm going to relax and just fucking slow down and go from there. So that's not a bad score. That area is reasonably dense with enemies. This is another factor to consider as well. As we know, this game is not truly procedurally generated. The world, so Desolation, is made up of those sections. The sections are pre-generated. The enemy types that are going to be in there are from a subset, but there are only so many areas. I think there's 8 or maybe 9 different configurations of these sections, and knowing their layouts and knowing which one's coming up can be a boon to you. And if you play this mode a lot, you'll start to learn them. I'm starting to learn the Desolation ones now because I'm playing in Desolation a lot. I'm not usually here. The other boon that can give you as well, though, is you can know when you're getting a good section or a bad section. On average, you should have the same amount of enemies across all 3 sections and the end section each and every time, with a variation of anywhere between about 10 and 20 enemies from what testing I've done in the past. More often than not, you will get at least one section that is very big, one section that is small and light on enemies, and then another section that is quite big. Then the end section usually has the same amount of enemies. So what I'm getting at here is you want to basically have an average across these. I would usually average, if I was doing well across these 3 sections, it's usually average somewhere in the 90,000s, and then the last section is quite a good one for scoring because it's enemy rich and very dense. So, for instance, this configuration has a decent amount of enemies because there's quite a few there, and quite a massive swarm of bats in the middle. I think that's the only... No, there's a massive swarm of bats in the middle and then another one behind it. Again, note the orange. The orange shows us our entrances, how to get downstairs. Knowing how many downstairs sections there are within each, or areas there are within each section, is also vital, because you can miss a big chunk of enemies if you didn't know some of the sections. It isn't just one underground part. There's 2. This one, for instance, is one underground part, and then there's another one that is not connected to this and actually has a separate exorcist in. If you go near the way to identify that is if you've already gone downstairs somewhere and you step onto those steps and you've killed everything down there and you step onto another set of steps and an exorcist circles around, the likelihood is that is a second section within Desolation section that you haven't done yet. Anyway, right, so I've kept on talking long enough now. I've got Cupid's Wrath. So what do I want to start off killing first? You know it's bats. And the reason being is because that first kill is not then a 10-second timer. It's more like our first kill is a 16-second timer, and that's much easier to work with and keep going. So we'll fire that straight off. We've got a second one that can go to the other group of bats, and then we're going to get straight down here and start the headshots. I'll just get rid of him for now because I'm going for this guy. Right next to him, a headshot. Right next to him, a headshot. We'll now go downstairs. Headshot, headshot. Let's try and get you. Missed. Boo. I don't want that. I do want that. Where are you going? And again, note how we are racing to kill enemies before the curse does them for us. And we're racing to kill them with headshots. Got two very fortunate headshots there. So I was going to say, oh, there they are. So our executioner bonus at the moment should be in the sort of like about 20 seconds left. So we should be able to do, if I don't mess up like that, should be able to do this entire section in the one executioner time, which will do our score decent. Damn it. Couple down there. We'll fire a Cupid's Wrath at them, because that will deal with them, and then we can get straight into here. Kill the guys in here. Ah, I didn't look at that arrow. I thought it was something different. Again, I'm using the slow time whilst he's stumbling. Now, because we've got a decent executioner bonus here, I'm not going to be going for quite as many headshots on things unless they're reasonably safe. I am coming back up this way, and there is some enemies there, so I'm going to wait for them. Winter's Bite is great for him. Curse of God, missed. Damn it! Ow! And we'll finish you with that, and then you with that. Now, remember those two enemies that were upstairs? Part of my madness for this is that that curse should go upstairs and kill those last two. Oh no, they've died from various explosions and other bits and pieces. And that's so that things are dying in the background whilst I'm still travelling. You're attacking. I'm not going to go for you yet. I'll come back for you. Skip past you. One of them. That's a good shout. Yeah, thanks very much. And occasionally I will use a body shot to stop an enemy dead in its tracks, because the arrow that I've got coming up isn't very good. Right, we want to still be fast here. Still using slow time, because there's a couple more enemies in the map that we can get that might still be part of our executioner bonus. Oh, there's a lot of enemies left in the map, though. That was probably too far away. Azure's Wrath isn't a bad one, but be careful of the stagger of enemies. If you can lead your multiple shot arrows across, that's always a good thing. Oh, and there's a couple of enemies down there as well, cheeky ones. So this one should be very good for our score. Bear in mind we got, what, look, 27,000 odd, or 28,000 I think it was. Yeah, lads, calm down, calm down. I hear another one? No, just him. Any more? Quick. One more over there. You can have my special attention. And more in here. So again, my routing here hasn't actually been very good, and I haven't killed a lot of things. I went downstairs probably too early. Oh, well, we'll let him finish that up. But we haven't done too bad on health. Now, I would imagine my executioner bonus is over by now. This is the only time that I will make an exception for getting a headshot on a bat, because it's all by itself. I can wait for that shot, wait for that headshot. I don't want to have to wait for headshots on bats normally, because whilst I'm waiting for bat headshots, not only is it risky in that I might miss it whilst I am rushing, but it takes too long and it's eating too much of my executioner timer up. So let's have a little look around, see if there's anything that we missed. We missed quite a lot on that initial one, and then we'll have a look at our score and see how we did. I think that probably went all right, but I probably lost more life than I should have. Yep, all good. So we had 28,000, we're now up to 64, so that means we pulled 36,000 out of that section, which is a good score. That's a good score for that section, and that one is reasonably enemy rich. That one's quite dense actually, and quite crammed. So again, shall we? Now this one is a very large area, but there's not a lot of enemies in it. And again, we're going to go up high, take stock of the situation. I'm pretty sure I know which one this is. This is one of the ones that we've done already. The problem with this section, so we've had two quite dense sections. This one's going to be more difficult to score in because it is very big and very long, and the underground is vast and extensive. But we know that there's a group of bats over there, and we know that there's a group of bats at the back. So we're going to start our killing when we know exactly where the bats are. We're going to wait until we've got an arrow that is ideal for dealing with bats, and then we're going to go off from there. So again, we're going to get as close as possible. Shrapnel for you. Catalyst is not going to cut it. I know there's enemies up here. I'm going to kill that one quick, plus that one, and then get away from the explosions so that they don't go off before the explosions do. That's exactly what we were waiting for. That's killed most of those. Continue our killing. Straight over here. Hoping for another decent explosive arrow or something like a curse. There's plenty of enemies to be killing whilst I'm waiting for these things. Ooh, hello Fitz. I am streaming on PICO, mate. Just on YouTube on PICO, mate. We're not getting the arrows that we're after, but there are one or two enemies left here. One there. So at this point, we're just cycling to try and get something to deal with those bats, but we don't seem to be getting it. Hello, weebs. And yeah, this was going to be a giveaway stream. Divine Sight will do. So at this stage now, I wouldn't risk going for them. I would get straight downstairs because we haven't got anything reliable enough to take them all out, and there's a lot of enemies down here that we could be killing and getting headshots out of and increasing our multiplier. Again, that's going to explode, so we have to be careful about who we go after, because not only do those explosions kill things, but they also have a point of staggering things as well. I know, right? Yeah, you're not wrong there. I was hoping... it's because I mentioned it to Fitz, actually. It wasn't Weeble. It's because I mentioned it to Fitz because he hasn't got this on the PICO yet, and I was hoping to at least give him a chance. So plug that with that one. I'm going to try and kill everything up here on the hope that I get a decent arrow that's going to have effect on everything. Doesn't look like it's happening though. Oh, that went... oh, it hit his shield. Happy days. That was almost terrible. Right, let's get that down there. That'll probably take a lot of things out for us. Let's get that one in there as well. Have a quick check up top because I know there's some enemies up here. And then we go down. And we want to try and work this room. We want to go around the outside of it. Oh, that's a lot of arrows. And the reason being is because if we work the outside, because I know how to get out of here. Oh, there's a knight following me. I'll let him do that. I'll let him do that. Ah, rushed it. Yeah. If they're going to die to effects anyway, and you've got a nasty arrow on you, you might as well kill them with the nasty arrow. Just if the nasty arrow is no good to you, just to try and cycle it. And we don't want you to die of that, but we also don't want to use that, because we can't get a headshot. We can with that, and that's 2 headshots out of that guy. So I got gold for the headshot, and then gold again for the headshot, as well as the death. Ah, you guys. So we're probably not going to be able to carry on the execution. See, look how slow this is with me trying to get headshots. And that's why you try and look for the big explosive arrows to get them. I haven't got time to wait for that and get the headshot. And it's not a precise enough art to get them like that in normal time. So, yeah. We've only got a couple of enemies left, so we done well in some sections of that, but we didn't get all the explosive arrows that we wanted as we were killing enemies to take out those big groups of bats. So that wasn't anywhere near as effective as it could have been, but we were on 68, and now we're on 88. Oh, bloody hell, that was rubbish. I hope there's still some enemies left. God, what are you lot like? I got Fitz in the PICO headset looking for me streaming. Weeb's here for a key. Indy's puzzling away. Standard practices. Right, so as you can see, there was a lot of enemies downstairs, not many upstairs. And that's led to, again, if we'd have been able to kill those bats, we probably would have had a much better executioner bonus whilst we were downstairs and would have done better on the scoring. However, we didn't. Now, life loss wise, for doing the first 3 sections of the game, I don't think that's too bad. I always budget to try and finish a level with anywhere between 3 and 5 lives. I suppose you have already got this though, so you don't need another key, weebs. So, again, we're going to have a little rest and we're going to have a little breather and a little think about all the killing that we're going to be doing. And then we're going to continue. So, now, that's the 3 sections of Desolation done, and as I said, so this is why I say about the armor side of things. Because I've got that armor, I've got 1 life more than I should have, so I think that armor does yield quite the advantage, because I'm not good enough to go through all of that and do that well and get all the headshots and a decent executioner and not lose any lives. There's too many factors going on. I, like all of you, effects go off as I'm firing arrows and kill enemies. If you are, the faster you are moving, the more likelihood there is of that happening. Happens to everybody. So, oh yeah. So, as far as this side of things is concerned, we know there's 2 enemies here, and I've got an explosive arrow. Ideally, I can plug one with the explosive arrow and let the explosives go off. And hopefully we'll get a decent arrow next. That's exactly what we wanted. Want to head straight up here. Take the bats out. Oh, that was terrible. And keep on killing. That was also terrible. Again, note how I am tapping slow time to get him in the spot that I want him. I'll take that shot. Ow! I was too busy looking at that axe. And note how you can be doing really well in Fletcher, and then all of a sudden it goes to absolute shit. Welcome to the Fletcher challenge. In that circumstance, that's exactly how it works. I've lost 2 life there in very quick succession for no good reason. Are those bats still there? No, they're not. Cool, kill you with that. Curse is not going to spread. Try and be quick on this last bit, but we're not doing so well. The explosion's going to kill him, so I'll leave him to do that. Pestilence should kill all of those. And then that for you. That for you. Get to the back line here and start taking out the archers, because the knights are easier headshots and take ages to turn. Thought I was going to go straight through his fucking Swede then. Don't move. That was a bit risky. Let's try and freeze this guy with a headshot so I can get 3 on him. The lightning will finish him. Try and use the hail of arrows on someone up here. Who the hell hit me? Hellfire there. Cupid's Wrath on him. And then we go down. There's still a couple of enemies up top. I'll definitely go back and deal with them, but I don't think I'll get them in time. And volley. And then Divine Sight, fire it above in the hope of getting some headshots. Didn't get any. Brilliant. Don't take that shot, it's too far away. Hopefully, that curse will go and do some damage up top. If these guys head towards me, they'll get electrocuted. Gives me time to go up here and have a look. Nothing up here at all. Yeah, no, it's always the way in this game. Things can be going fantastically, and then all of a sudden, you know, we came into this section with, what, 7 lives? I'm leaving with 4. It's terrible, but it's doable. I actually find Desolation probably one of the highest places to score, but probably one of the most difficult. In comparison, Paradise Lost is also quite easy. So I've just gone back there to make sure that if there are any enemies that I finish them off, and then let's have a look at our score, shall we? 115,000. So that's just through those 3 sections. No, I got 85, 20. I didn't actually do that well on the last one. 108. Yeah, I only got 27,000 on that last section. So again, the arrows didn't come off for me as well. There is an element of RNG to this. So what we want to do here, now when I got my top scores, I didn't really do much farming on Anakim. It's actually quite difficult to farm him without losing life, because the archers in these alcoves are fucking bouncy. Anyway. But you've got 2 options here. If you are confident with working the room with Anakim, then do so. If you are not, no, you don't. But if you're using slow time, you don't have to move very fast. But if you can use slow time and move very fast, well, that would be the difference between, you know, being on the top of the page or not. Right, we're going to have to get really close to this guy to use this arrow. Hopefully get a headshot out of it. No. And this is not the standard way. That lightning will probably finish him off. This is not the standard way to go about this, but we're taking what we can headshot-wise and working with what arrows we can. If we can get headshots on Anakim, and bear in mind he does have a particularly big head, not only will it stagger him, but it'll also get us points. And where he starts taking his damage, and where we are in relation to these alcoves, is where things will spawn. I'm going to plug in with that as well, because it might kill some of these. Lucky little headshot there, lovely. That's part of the reason why you can miss a lot of arrows whilst taking these archers. So again, look how I'm tapping this and letting them fall out. Or letting them get in. He didn't even move. I just missed that really badly. Letting them get in position before I take the shot. Because if you don't do that, you'll end up missing a lot. Let's put another headshot in him. Kill his little abominations. Look at this guy. That doesn't help me when you're doing a bloody some kind of running man routine. So we'll go for the others whilst he's fucking about. Stop it! Just stop it! I'll waste that on him, and that might blow up some of the others, and then get the headshot there. That'll kill that. Let's move up to... Let's go over to this room here, and we'll try and get some long-range headshots by... Ooh, that's doing a bit there. Nope, no headshots. But that should start all of these monks off. Holy Light is a horrible arrow to have in this situation. A lot of the time, you can trust the effects to kill things. He hasn't got an effect on him. That's Holy Light. Try and... Where's the last one? Was there a last one? There was a last one. Lovely. Kill some of the abominations. I think you can... the problem with the abominations that you're killing here, because I've never really done extensive testing on it, and we should really, is 1152. Just a normal kill. Yeah, it does get you some points. And the executioner bonus is triggering with that as well. Normally, I say if you're not getting gold from headshots here, then you are not scoring. Note how we're not getting any gold from these kills, but that is still scoring. It's one of the few places that's a bit weird. I think it's done that way on purpose. It's probably a fucking programming accident of sorts. I hope it's done that way on purpose to try and help the player know when they stop killing, when they stop going for headshots. The only problem that you also have with trying to farm Anakin at this stage as well is a lot of the time you'll end up killing him accidentally. Like I'm about to in a minute. Divine Sight is probably the best arrow you can hope for when going for these monks, because even if you fuck it up at close range, it doesn't matter. Where are you going? Any more? There's definitely more. Yeah, even if you fuck it up, you'll still not take any damage for it, so you can quite safely fire. Where you go? Ah, you bugger. Oh, I got too close. Too close to the sun. Right, let's see if we can get a couple more kills. By going around here. And then we want to try and land... Ah! That was terrible. That should kill all of them, and then let's try and get a headshot for the finish. Not a good example there. So again, I've played this. I know how to work this room, and even I lost 3 life there. That was absolutely terrible. But again, sometimes the RNG's with you and you get the right arrows. If you get a lot of Cupid's Wraths and if you get a lot of Divine Sights whilst you are firing, well, we know that we can't miss with those and take damage for that. Or we can miss for them, but you don't take damage for it. That is a big, massive help. Anyway, right. Streamer's luck time. Let's go. We're on 1 life. We could do with all of these being doubles. Single. Single. Double! That's what you should expect. Yeah, the one thing that I will say is, if you find yourself on the top when you make the killing blow, as long as you don't teleport or move, it won't send you to the next level. So you can kind of go up there. It's still risky, though, because I've had it teleport me out when I've killed Anakin up there and missed out on getting the lives. So Mac was asking the other day about life. Like, can you heal in this mode? No, you can't, except the end bosses. And you will always get 3. That's been upped from last season as well. It used to be 2. Because you get 3, and if you have the achievement that gives you a chance of getting a double heal, up to 30%, of the 3 health, you should, on average, regardless of luck, get one of those to be a 2 on each time. So we can then accommodate that into our tactics and our strategy and whether we are having a good run or not. So for instance, because I have now got 5 life to go into Paradise Lost, I consider this not a very good run and not one that I would usually carry on. So I would probably start again. Why would I do that though? I've got a really good score. Well, it is all right, 125,000. But the reason being is because VR, and especially IDU, is a fatiguing game. I've probably only got 2 or 3 good games a day in me. At a stretch, probably. And if I'm out of practice, then probably even less than that. So fatigue and stamina, unfortunately in this game, are not represented by bars. They are represented by your health and your fitness and how accustomed and acclimatized you are to the game. So my point here being is, recognize when you are doing shit and don't push it. So if you make a really bad start and lose 5 life straight off the bat, start again. No one's like keeping track of how many times you've restarted, because you're then pushing for a score that is not worth doing. Yeah, exactly. Right. So as far as Paradise Lost, we'll conduct what little a lesson I can, and I'll try and play this. Actually, I don't want to do that though, because I don't want to risk. Yeah, fuck this. I don't want to risk getting too high a score. We'll rooftop hop back to here, which allows me to show you how to deal with Anakin fast. Oh, I'm able to construct the F text. So again, it allows us to have a look at our score as well. So Again, that is an indication that I know that I am playing to my kind of par. That I don't know what the tithe collector should be, but that usually ends up at about 50,000. I do know that my executioner bonus should be about 1/3 more than my marksman if I'm playing well. Knowing that, and I don't think I could play it much. Oh, I probably could play it better, but on an average over time, I don't think I can play myself. Excuse me, much better than that. And you'll see my marksman score is, yeah, about 1/3 difference between my marksman score and my executioner, and I would expect to keep that through all the levels. And that's when I know, excuse me, that I'm on pace, playing fast enough, and doing well. Now, next lesson. Gabriel's easy. I'll show you how to do Gabriel, weebs, don't worry. The other thing that I would say as well is it would be worth you harvesting all the points in Desolation instead of trying to make sure that you've got enough life to get you through Paradise Lost, because Paradise Lost can be a very difficult stage. You'd be better off trying to harvest your points from here. You have to be very well versed in Paradise Lost to be able to score well there, and even then it's very difficult. I'd expect to be able to score a maximum out of Paradise Lost of about, well, we'll see, but about 70 to 80k. And that's because of how I'm kind of forced to play it, because again, you don't want to be going for cupids and headshots on them, which then means about 50% of the level's enemies you're not getting headshots on, which is what makes your score very low. So what I'm doing here is I'm rooftop hopping or bottom dwelling, or whatever you want to call it, rooftop hopping because we're up high, and I'm doing this just to get to the end boss nice and quickly so that we can get to Paradise Lost nice and quickly with plenty of life, so I can show those of you that can get to Paradise Lost what the way that I would play it and the way that I think you should play it to be correct at it ish. Don't do what Donnie doesn't do or does. So we're just going to skip through this and not kill anything, and it will hopefully give us an idea of how I play Paradise Lost and how well it scores, and why it's the worst of the scoring levels as well. I don't think there is a better way that I could play it either. I'm killing everything very fast and I'm getting my headshots where I can, but it also comes down to risk and not missing those headshots. And as we all know with cupids as well, a lot of the time when they're lining up for the kill shot or lining up to take their shot, their hitboxes on their heads go all funky, and it's actually quite difficult to get headshots on them without aiming off. You're supposed to aim up and right, and it can be very difficult to make that shot, and it can be very easy to miss that shot. Now, what I did start talking about, hopefully I get a multi-arrow, did not get a multi-arrow. If you are confident with the ranges on your arrows, or you've got something like Hail of Arrows, you can, I think, and let me just test this a second. You can cycle your arrows on Anakin without losing life, but that's quite a long shot. And ideally, what I think you want for this situation, if you're going to work the room, is Divine Sight or Cupid's Wrath, just because you can't miss, and especially with Divine Sight, you might get a headshot. Just doing a little bit of damage on him at cycle 1 will spawn the first lot of monks. And then we work the room from there. This is how you would... Now, my top score on the quest, I don't think I harvested much more than a couple of archers, and I killed Anakin very quickly, because I was just trying to get the points out of the level, not spending too much time dicking around. Now, what we're going to do here is, if you can't work the room, my advice would be, and this is again slow time, is jump onto that pillar, shoot, slow time, shoot, slow time, shoot, slow time. When you're not drawing an arrow and releasing, you are slow timing, and you make sure that this is a quick action so that you can get back on the slow time as quickly as possible. I also started saying about why I think horizontal might actually be better for this mode than vertical, and the reason being is when I fire shots like this, or even at the cant, a lot of the time if I'm aiming the middle one for the head, the bottom arrows hit the body first because of how the arrows are spread out, whereas a horizontal user, if they are aiming, if they don't hit the head with the middle one, or if they do hit the head with the middle one, there's no oh sorry, 2 seconds. Yeah, the boundary's a bit sensitive on the old PICO actually. I can't turn it down as much. Can't turn it down. I'll show you how. Look how far away I am. I'm not even that far away from the wall. So you'll see my crummy little mat here that's falling apart. So this is something that I should talk about as well, and I find particularly helpful. Now, as you know, I do not use, really, this thumbstick in the game at all. I do all of my turning in real life, and I try and keep at least a foot on this little, my shitty little mat here, so that I have a grounding as to where I am. I then have another kind of like crummy carpet around the outside. So basically, if I'm touching wood, I know I am well out of my area. But this is more than enough for me to be able to turn and fire in this area, and note how my foot usually stays on here. And then whilst I'm playing game, I can shuffle to where the edge is. So this is, again, it's another well-practiced technique and something that I've been doing for quite some time. Nice shorts and socks, by the way, right? Slippers there, ready for when I'm finished. Get a little bit of cocoa on, and then go to bed. So, no, I'm not weebs. So, as far as Anakin's concerned, so yeah, I was saying about, I think a horizontal user in this mode has a bit of an advantage over a vertical user or a diagonal user. Hello, LG. Hello, LG. So the horizontal, I think, has the advantage here as well, because as I said, I've noticed a lot of the time that my bottom arrows, when firing a cluster of arrows, a 3 or a 5 times variant, when going for a headshot, the bottom ones can hit before the headshot actually hits. Still get a hit, but I'm not getting the headshot. Whereas a horizontal user, there isn't really any chance of any of these arrows, if you are aiming for the head, of them going anywhere else, which is a good thing. But then a horizontal user has the disadvantage of those arrows all going out into the background and killing other things that you might have wanted to get headshots on. Anyway, so we've cycle hopped up until this point, so we are at 0 points. We'll kill Anakin nice and fast to demonstrate what I think is probably the best technique to do it if you are not well versed in taking him out in slow time, or you don't want to risk losing life. My top score, I didn't harvest anything from, I think, Anakin and Gabriel. We want to be shot, slow time, shot, slow time, shot, slow time. That's a fantastic arrow for us to get. We also make sure you keep your bow in the same place and try and aim at least a little bit high so that you're getting headshots. Because not only are those headshots scoring, but they're also staggering him. And then when you're starting to get him to low life, stop, because the likelihood is you will have so many effects on him that he is ready to die anyway. The other thing to note as well is all the enemies are spawning around us, although we're not getting headshots. What's that for? Oh, passionate. Oh, mate, I can... You've heard my streams. I can blather on about this for fucking ages. I do love this game. Anyway, it's what made me famous. So... or infamous. So, as far as the kill is concerned, we actually got, in just those headshots alone, probably... well, it wasn't just the headshots. Probably about... yeah. Don't be quick. Like, the thing is, firing and then slow timing is quick. It just doesn't feel or look quick. But to the enemy, it looks very quick because you're slowing time. Again, I liken it to films with the Flash and films with Quicksilver in. When they're doing their super speedy thing, everyone else, like when they're just doing their super speedy thing but walking around normally, everyone else is in super slow motion. But to those people, he appears really, really, really fast. That's what we're doing. So you want to shoot, slow time, shoot, slow time, and make your shot and draw as quick as possible to get maximum effect. This is terrible. I'm not leaving those behind. Anybody could grab these. I don't want that. I want them. There we go. If I can't have them, no one can have them. Scorched Earth policy. This channel only. So, the mighty Paradise Lost. Yeah, well, I mean, we can get back here pretty easy anyway. No, I did lose the armor out of that as well. That wasn't a great interaction. So, putting the same lessons and approach onto here as we did previously. Now, I might go a little bit quieter than usual, doubtful, on this because I am not planning on taking a break between the two sections of Paradise Lost. So make sure you scratch your balls and get your itches in and take your drinks and vape and smoke and do all your bits and pieces before you start the level, because you shouldn't be stopping between the two sections within Paradise Lost. And the reason being is because from the last tower of Paradise Lost to the middle island and then onto the next section can literally be 2 arrows, 2 teleport arrows, which means that if you are playing well and if you are going fast enough, you can keep your executioner bonus across both of the... Oh, 2 seconds. Across both of the islands. Should really... No, it isn't even that loud. Interesting. Right, okay. So, what we're planning on doing here is going in. We are trying to... Oh, 2 seconds. We're going to try and go across this level without basically killing normal enemies, and when Divine Sights and Cupid's Wraths come up, we are going to like shoot them out into the sky to try and deal with the Cupids. Anything that is past our normal range of engagement, we're not even going to try for. Cupids we will go for if they are close, but the other thing you need to be massively careful of is Cupids are extremely fragile and will go down to a lot of the effects that we're going to be shooting into the arena. So again, we are going to pick our first shot because we want to get the most out of Executioner. It's probably going to have to be you, isn't it? Then it's you. That's great for us. We'll pop that up there in the hope of getting lots of those Cupids. And then we'll headshot that guy. And then we're straight up here. We're not going for that one. He's too far out. We'll go for you, and you, and you. And note how I'm moving past a lot of enemies, but this is in the hope that things like curses, lightning, pestilence, and then by my own effect, like lightning killed that Cupid, I didn't have to, ignoring these on the outskirts, because that's too difficult a shot. Curse is very good for us, if we can keep it going. We'll go back with this Cupid's Wrath to try and get these ones on the outskirts. Fire that one off just because I can. And that one. Definitely want to kill this guy as quickly as possible so we can get that curse spreading through the level. Don't want it on him, so we want to kill him as quickly as possible. Gonna see if there's enemies like that that we can kill there. Oh, that was a bad shot. Ow, 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 ow. That was 2. Again, Cupid's Wrath's up there, because that kills all of that lot without us having to really worry about missing shots. Up top. So we're constantly keeping an eye on our arrows and arrows that we could use to kind of clear the skies. Like that one's a good one over there. That one's an even better one. And note as well how I stay looking in the direction until the arrows are very close to enemies. And the reason being is because if you don't, it's all about the gaze. If you don't gaze at the enemies, then the arrows won't necessarily go for them. The homing system in this game is wonky as fuck at the best of times. That Azure's Wrath is really good for us because it may kill those. Why I didn't do that one, I have no idea. Little headshot for him. It depends on the arrow, actually, Weebs. If you kill them with... No, with Curse it's different. So if you kill them with something that has another effect, another damage over time effect, it can replace it. But if... Oh, sorry, if you damage them... If you damage them with it... So say, for instance, I cursed... Oh, you little shitbag. If I cursed one enemy... Oh, that's a double. This is not going so well, is it? And if we... I'll try and demonstrate. That I'll take. I'm not going for him. That's too far a shot away, especially with one of these. That I'll take. Is there one down here? Was there one down here? Yes, there was. That I'll try and get the headshot on as well, but I missed it. That's what we want Divine Sights for. There's still some enemies down the bottom. Cupid's Wrath, perfect. That should hopefully go and get him. Cupid's Wrath up there, and we move whilst it's in flight as well. Oh. Ah, well. Not so great. And then one more here. Now, I don't think I was quick enough there, and I was spending time chatting away and that, but I want to go straight to this island, straight across it, straight onto the next island, because there's a good chance, if I was doing well, that I would be able to keep the executioner bonus going. That was rubbish. Yeah, no, that is a very real problem, Weebs. So, Pestilence. I'll try and demonstrate what I was talking about. I don't want to use Barrage and Needles to take those guys out. Take him out. Volley isn't going to do us any favours, so let's get up high. Kill what we can. And again, we are waiting for specific arrows that will allow us... I mean, Azure's Fury is quite a good one, because it should lightning through quite a lot. Oh, that was a good opportunity we missed. Should lightning through quite a lot of enemies. Ow. Cataclysm is not a good arrow. That's a risky shot that we shouldn't really take. Let's come back down here and see if we can get some of these arrows that I'm after. Cupid's Wrath. That's a good one for up there. So with Curse of God, as long as we kill the enemy... Even if that arrow would normally give them a status effect, the curse will then stay here and then move on to another enemy. If you kill an enemy with the damage over time effect of, say, Wildfire, so let's say, for instance, I cursed an enemy and then wildfired them and let the wildfire do the work to kill them, then it will replace the curse. Damn it. That'll kill him. Do you with that. Now we need to get back up high. This is risky, but I'll take it with a Hellfire. I'm not using a Wildfire there. Now you can still see that we've got an awful lot of Cupids around. I'm going to try and kill the ones that are easy, and then fire this one off at the ones that are any further away than a range that I want to engage them at. And now I'm going to be looking for arrows to go back to all of that nastiness that's up there and fire to, like, that's perfect. So that gets a few more of them. That should get some more. It's risky. And again, with some enemies that have a lot of life, you can often outrun the effects that you've put down. That would have been good outside. That could go to you guys. You can have that. Divine Sight out there. Tempest is another good one for getting these distant ones. We want to get the kills on them, but they're not actually worth that much. That was risky. I can hear the curse travelling around. There it is. So we want to kill that guy quickly. Not because we want the curse to stay alive. We just want it tagging onto something else quick. It's actually going in the right direction. Like if I'd have put that freeze... there you go. There's a good example. I put that freeze in and it didn't kill him. So it replaced the curse effect. But if you headshotted him and killed him... Divine Sight. That's good. That's a risky shot. That's a much riskier shot than I need to be. Yeah, thanks for all the cataclysms. There's some down here still. That's what we're after. One for up over there. Good. Another one. Good. But remember as well, each of these shots are only getting us a handful of gold. It's not actually worth that many points unless we're getting headshots on them, and I'm not. And doing shots like that, you will take, even if you're trying to stick to my rules religiously, because risky, and you want those points, even though they're not worth that many. And it's all this chasing around, trying to get the right arrows so you can deal with all that nonsense that's in the sky. That is part of the reason why I probably won't score that well. Now, I think we scored about... Oh, one more down there, or a couple more down there. One for you. One for you. Risky. Shouldn't do that. That's a good arrow for us. Is there plenty left out here? No. Is there any more left here? Just the one. Nope, that's another. And that is probably... as fast as we can do all of that. Oh, one more. This probably won't be part of the Executioner bonus, and I'd like to think that we had that Executioner bonus going through most of those two sections. Now we're going to try and take out what we can without it being too risky. Again, if that's outside of Executioner bonus, he's worth a grand total of 50 gold, plus a little bit like 1 or 2 points as a cycle bonus. Where is that shot coming from? If you can get that, you have to aim so high. Look where that arrow's actually gone in. That counts as a headshot, but you have to aim so high sometimes that you can actually miss that shot. And it's such an easy shot to miss, which is why I try and kill all of my Cupids with effects or Divine Sight, so Cupid's Wrath, so there's no chance of missing. Now, so we've gone through all of that, and there you go, about 70,000. Which isn't too bad for Paradise Lost. But, you know, that's like almost half what we made in Desolation. And just as risky. I didn't play that very well. Now, the other thing that I'm doing here, because we skipped straight from one section to another to keep our Executioner bonus going, I'm going back now, because there's no Executioner bonus for us to worry about. And I'm going to kill what enemies are easy. And what enemies are here. If they are too far away, I've got two options. I can either fuck them off, or get their attention and then wait for them to teleport close to me. But again, it's only worth 50 points, and if you've done well enough, there won't be very many of them left. There is going to be, obligatorily, enemies that didn't spawn in or were just around the corner from where I was pathing through. So again, you know, that's 300 points there. That's not worth so much. And you might, if you've got like a cluster of them left, then you might get a bit of an Executioner bonus out of this. But again, if you're coming back and thinking about your Executioner bonus, then you're not killing enough. Where are all these coming from? I swear I got all of you guys. That allows us to deal with a Cupid out in the sky, of which there is one there. Any more? Probably not. So again, 49 gold he's worth, plus a couple of points cycle bonus. And if we're in executioner bonus as well. So yeah, that's it for about this. And it's worth doing this as well because we've all come back to areas that we've thought we've cleared and there's been a banshee wandering around. So, and again, that's another relatively easy headshot because banshees' heads don't bob around quite as much. And we're going to do the same again and just see if there's any enemies that we can easily tag. We've got the right arrow for the ones that should be left. Nope. One there. I'm looking for a bigger group because Divine Sight can kill a lot. Just the one then. If there's any others. One there. We can use him to cycle our arrow because we can get particularly close to him. That gives us the Divine Sight to get that other one that I saw. Where was he? Where was he? You were out there. Oh, did you? Oh, no, he teleported in. Did he teleport in? And then if you do have the right arrow, like this, it can be worth just firing it up and up into the level and see what happens. It might get something that is below you or around a corner or something that you haven't seen. But I think... Did I even go to the bottom floor? Can't remember. But I think that's about it. That's about all she wrote for this level. And so, I mean, that wasn't to the best of my abilities because I lost a lot of life. But, as you can see, that was worth half. Well, a little bit more than half on what we scored. Right, weebs. Listen up, because this guy's easy. So, Gabriel the Fallen, we are not going to bother farming him. Headshots, we are going to be very selective with. If we can get him in a Hand of God bubble, that's the time when you want to be going for headshots. Try to just stick to Divine Sight and Hellfire and Hail of Arrows, because you should be able to get multiple headshots on him if you can keep your arms straight. And there's a chance, at least, that if you miss one of the shots, you can pull it down. So first things first, using lots of slow time to find out exactly where he's coming in. There are two methods to find out, one difficult, one easy. If we teleport to the areas that he is normally going to inhibit and we can walk through them, he ain't coming down there. So if I go over here and walk through, I'm now pressing forward, I can't walk through. I know he's coming here. The other way is a lot easier. Use slow time, look up. We're slow timing right now. I know exactly where he's going to be. And what I want to do, regardless of where he's spawning, I want to push him off to the right of the level. So I want to get right next to him. And remember, the closer we are to Gabriel, the further he will go away from us. The further away we are from Gabriel, the closer he will come to us. He is always trying to set himself up for his perfect range. Note how he's not attacking me at the moment because he is not in his perfect range. But when he gets to his perfect range, he'll stop and he'll start initiating his attack. Now, old Gabriel is an attention seeker in a massive diaper, aren't you, Gabriel? So you don't have to necessarily look up for him either. Look for the halo on the, or the holy light on the ground. That's also another indicator. But slow timing and looking up is a good idea. So to beat Gabriel, the easy way, one of the things that I found out is making use of kind of like teleport trapping, and how this game the enemies will always try and keep it fair and attack you in the face. We use that to our advantage, and we do so. I'll let him reset a second. When he's diving down at us, we're always behind the pillar, looking away. You doing you? Yeah. We count that 3-hit combo out, and it's here we go for shots at him. So what we want to do is we want to keep this pillar to the left of our view, and look, good old attention seeker Gabriel not only needs a sandwich, but constantly needs our attention. If we keep this in our field, got me there. Or got me before I could get him. If we keep this in our periphery and then give him clear sky, he will always move that way into it more often than not. If you're manipulating quick, look how he went left. And now if I go the other side, in my periphery, look over here. Which way is he going to come? There he is. Over here, periphery, looking at clear sky. Oh, look, he's coming this way. And you can literally do this with him all fucking day. And he won't attack you because he isn't getting into his perfect range. Not only does he want to get his perfect range from you, he also wants to get the perfect amount. He basically wants you in full screen when he goes for it. So, when he does his fireball like this, we do not want to be attacking him. We want to go left. And And not only do we go to the other side when he fires the fireballs, he does need a sandwich. And probably a change in nappy as well. We put that shield up just in case. Because, now, so this is the perfect arrow that we want for him, but I don't want to demonstrate perfect arrow for him. What you would do is hit him in the body with that, and then that should be easy headshots for you. And when you've got a handed god bubble, you can even move a little bit further forward. But note how he gets further back from you. And then you want to be taking your shots where you can. But I'm not going to do it with the hand of god bubble. I'll do it with something else. But this is probably going to take a while. Time for me to have a drink. Be careful whilst you are walking around your play space here as well, because you can get tagged. I normally would say if you can see the whites of Gabriel's eyes, then he can hit you with his sword. But that's not technically true. It's if you can see the blacks of his eyes that he can hit you with his sword. So, like, for instance, if he was going for a sword swing there, he would be able to hit me because he's looking at me. He's got line of sight on me. And so, again, we want to be going... I'm trying to get him to cast some fireballs. So, again, when he casts fireballs, go to the other side, put the pillar between you and him so that all the fireballs impact. There is a chance that a fireball will come round and come at you here. And also note as well, when I'm doing the shield, I am not doing it here. I'm doing it right out as far as possible, because you can't normally block. You can block the fireballs, but if they explode on you too close, they will hurt you. Whereas if you have the shield out here, they are not explosive enough to be able to hit your hitbox. Right, so let's let him come around. Now that he was doing the dives to begin with, now it'll be nothing but fireballs. This, as I said, this is just a precautionary note, putting that shield up like that, because I've had a few times where the fireball sneaks around the corner and hits me in the face. But note how he's doing exactly what I want him to do. So we are using slow time. We are waiting for him to swoop down. If I had something like Divine Sight and I was just interested in beating him and not headshots, fire that round the corner. Cupid's Wrath, same thing. Cupid's Wrath, same thing. Divine Sight, this is very generous. Be very careful. That's too far away now. Don't engage. We have to now play the game of his fireballs and his various bits and pieces. When you hit him with Cupid's Wraths and Cataclysms, be careful. Those explosions will send him all over the place. Note how I'm going for body shots. And we'll put that Cupid's Wrath in him, and then that'll do. 1, 2, 3. Time for one more shot, maybe another, and then stop. When he starts retreating, don't try... I'm not going to shoot him at that range because it's fucking stupid. I'll let him get right nice close to me, thanks very much. Cupid's Wrath, Cataclysm, and Retreat. At Divine Sight, I don't even need to worry about missing this one. There you go. So, manipulating him from one corner to another will stop him. The nightmare scenario that you can have when you're doing this is him getting around you. And you stop that happening by trusting how the game works. Go into Gabriel and practice this. I do it quite nonchalantly. Sometimes I get it wrong as well, and he does go all the way around. But again, you can correct that by then looking at him over here. And like, if he started going that way, I would then do that and look to here so that this is covered and then there's white and then he'll appear and then you can slowly come back round the pillar like that and get him back into the clear sky again. So that's this I've done. Oh, and on the shield side of things, I'll show you what it looks like. So normally shielding, you would shield like that or that or that. Okay, when you are shielding with Gabriel, that is not enough, or that is not enough. You need to have your hand right out like that, and obviously, you know, your wrist needs to bend so that you can protect yourself. But I've got my arm at nearly full extension and holding the grip button to block those fireballs. You do not want to be blocking those fireballs normally, though, because that is the easiest way to get killed by Gabriel. This is a precautionary measure. Don't try and enact a strategy where you are trying to block Gabriel's fireballs. It will go badly. So let's see how our luck is tonight. 30% chance on each of these being a double. No. Yep. Yep, there you go. 30% chances kicked out. Maybe I'll go and get that lottery ticket after all. So, now one of the other things that LG pointed out, and I know that you can do it, and I know that you can do it infinitely, but it's worth so little amount of points and so risky. If you allow Gabriel, yeah, it's the old Alien versus Predator. I wish it was clearer, because there's an obvious error here, and I always ask people to identify it, and they're always like, the aliens playing as the black pieces, the Predators set up the white ones wrong. It's a lot more simpler than that. The alien is taking the first move, and he's black. Everybody knows that you go first in white with chess. Come on! And there's a lovely little juggernaut there as well. But yeah, Alien versus Predator. They've got their little scotch, having a game of chess. Anyway, so. Where am I again? Probably just go to the next level, shall I? Yeah. Do it my own particular idiom, though. Damn it. Missed. So. We've probably got a decent enough amount of life to get through Abyss as well. And normally I would die and then get back here, so I've got full life so I can give the proper lesson. But I think we've got enough life here. Now, Abyss is usually a... yeah, thank you, Weebs. Right, it's not really that relevant, actually, but... You can harvest 3 points out of Gabriel, but it is, well, yeah, I can show you the technique for it, but it is very, very fucking risky. Oh, yeah, mate, yeah, because Fitz was asking me about something interesting, not about my latest fucking icebreaker at the next IDU convention or the next party that I go to. Did you know? No, it's fine, mate. I'd much rather you be asking me about interesting stuff. So... yeah, it is. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. That is a very good shout, actually. Yep, I'm out. Good job, Synth. Well done. See, memory, terrible, absolutely terrible. Oh, just caught it in time as well. Good old, well done, Synth. Have a cookie. So, as far as the points are concerned with him, Gabriel, you can manipulate him so that he does his third attack. The reason why we keep him in the air is to stop him doing his third attack that he has. He's got the fireballs, he's got the swoop, he's also got a sword plunge. The reason why we keep him out in the sky is because then he cannot physically do his sword plunge because he's got nothing to sword plunge into. The reason why we don't want him doing his sword plunge is it has a massive range and radius. You have to be hiding behind a pillar pretty much anywhere on his boss level to be able to avoid it, and on top of that as well, it summons enemies. I have tested this previously to this extensively, and you can farm those enemies. I mean, I've farmed it for a very long time in normal bow mode, and you can farm it for a very long time, but the problem is, even if you're getting headshots on everything, it's only like 800 points, 900 points per summon, and that's providing he summons everything. Now, you can do that infinitely. It might be more useful on the normal game for pumping your score up a little bit, but once you start getting past cycle 5, 6, 7, you do not want to be playing that game. That will lead to your death. You let Gabriel summon, you will die. I know this because he gets one summon off and summons a load of enemies. Whilst you're dealing with them, he usually gets around the back of you, gets a hit off and does it again. And before you know it, you are fucking swarmed and you can't deal with the enemies quickly enough. That's why you don't allow it to happen. At cycle 1, which we're at, he'll only summon a maximum of 2 Cupids and potentially a Banshee at the same time. We can easily get a headshot on the Banshee in Fletcher mode. That's like 300 odd points plus the gold. Getting the headshots on the Cupids is going to be, well, risky at best, nigh on impossible at worst. So we can say that we'll get 50 gold from each of them. So that is then 450 to maybe 500 points. But the risk is massive for those 500 points. So farming his minions... Yeah, I know. Farming him for points at the best of times is high risk, low reward, and that's not how I play games. And I know that LG doesn't play it like that either. Yeah, and as LG said, he can even get you from really far away with his sword swings. But his sword plunge I think he can hit you anywhere on the level. I should really test that. It seems like it's infinite range. Anyway, but fuck Paradise Lost. It's really hard and really bad for scoring, so... Okay, on to Abyss. Now, Abyss is a lot more like it. Abyss is probably one of the places that you can score the most, I think. It depends on the configuration. Like, for instance, that configuration down there is particularly good for scoring because it is very dense with enemies. So, yeah, that's the thing is, though, as well, you are quite right, Sean, about turning your back to him, but that isn't as reliable as you would think. There's been plenty of times where I've been hit in the back walking away from enemies when they shouldn't be able to get me. More often than not, it's my own fault because I've looked slightly to the left a bit too much or to the right too much. It's kind of an exploit, but it's more cheesing a mechanic because, again, it's all based on this gaze and vision thing. But you've got to be very, even with the swipe, you've got to be very, very careful. Yeah, you've got to be very, very careful when doing that. And the thing is, like, I like that is a strategy in a way that you could go with it, but I think it's too risky to be worthwhile doing. Right, I've inadvertently started... I was chatting away and I've started off my executioner bonus. I don't want to start my executioner bonus, but I am quite happy with that arrow. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of like trying to now rush my executioner bonus, I'm going to wait a good 10 seconds. I'm going to have a quick vape and a quick slug of water and then start again. No, that's fair. I mean, the thing is, each to their own on tactics and strategies and cheese and exploits and what have you. But the only thing that I would say about that is that it isn't reliable enough. I wouldn't want to endorse that as a way to play the game because I don't think it's reliable enough. And, you know, you don't. The fact of the matter is, you don't want to have your back to a sword swipe from Gabriel, because what if he hits you when you're at what, cycle? What is it now? 15? Well, you're dead. I don't even want him to get the sword swipe off. No, that's fine. Here's the other thing as well that I would say is, like, for instance, you especially, Sean, you've said to me, like, you know, how do you survive so long? And it's all about preserving your life. And what's one great way to preserve your life? Stick them with the pointy end before they stick you with the pointy end. Stick them with the pointy end of everything before they're ready. That way they don't even get the opportunity to swipe or shoot or anything. If you've got enemies shooting at you, you're probably doing it wrong or taking on too much or not abusing slow time enough or don't know the layouts well enough. So, right. That's more than enough time. We've now started our 10-second timer again. Now, this is a particularly good scenario. If we can get him throwing an axe and then teleport next to him, well, he's going to be stood stock still for a little bit whilst we deal. Nope, you're quite right. But part of not taking unnecessary risks as well, because that's a very good point, Sean. Part of not taking unnecessary risks as well, that was an unnecessary risk, is by not letting enemies attack you. Letting enemies attack you is an unnecessary risk, I think we would all agree. Now, hopefully, the lightning and the pestilence will do the job here. We're going to need some good arrows to deal with the nastiness around here. That's not very good. We'll deal with the cupids. And again, I kind of deal with this level the same way as I do with Paradise Lost, in that I kind of wait for the effects to happen by killing enemies to then get the few cupids that are around, which is why this can be a really good scoring level, because cupids should die quite naturally, and there's not really enough of them to really get you as a swarm. And so you can concentrate on doing what you're doing best, which should be headshotting everything, and then hoping that you either get Cupid's Wraths. Ugh, terrible arrows. Divine Sights. Or other arrows of that ilk. Don't go for the headshot on these guys either, unless you've got the right arrow for it. Yeah. Yeah, you and me both, mate. So again, I don't really want to be taking those shots. I want to be cracking on and killing. Maybe I'll go back and get them. Now, this is the completely wrong way to normally do this. Well, you can have that, definitely. But you want to be right in there, killing everything as quickly as possible. Teleporting, slow motion, headshotting, all that good stuff. Getting them all very quickly. And the reason being is because you can get your executioner bonus pretty much up to maximum with this section of the level alone. This is, I hear Sean often lovingly refer to this area as the barracks, which I think is a great name for it, so call it that. I think, oh, too many effects going off there. And you can have that over there. The electricity might get you. Ow. Ah! 2! That was terrible behaviour. Again, using multi-shot or homing shots, that was risky, to get those cupids again. Curse of God on you. And then we kill that. What hit me then? I think the shield should be close to your body, but that doesn't work. It should be close to your body for the reals. So again, I would not go for that shot. Yeah, it's unreliable as fuck, which is why I'll either dodge or accept the hit and just move on. So that is another good point to raise as well. Hopefully we're still... I don't think we'll be in... We might be in our executioner. Try and get these guys quickly before that explosion goes off. Oh, that went... Oh, come on! Game. I went straight through his head. Fucking hitboxes. Stupid thing. But again, that is usually a symptom of playing the game too fast. Or killing too fast. But then most of the time it works fine. Anyway. Oh, fuck off. Let's see. When it rains, it pours in this game. That's a risky shot. That's an even riskier shot. Curse shall finish him off, but remember, minions are not worth points to us either. Is there much around here? There's not. It's not worth the risk, but never mind, eh? What I was hoping for is like a Cupid's Wrath or a Divine Sight to get that one, but not happening. And again, these are also not worth it as well. Look at my points. 3, 2, 2. Kill one, kills them all. That is worth, what was it, 322? Now up to 177. They're not worth headshots, and even the explosions are not that good and don't give extra gold or bonuses or anything along those lines. Skulls are a really good asset and a really good thing in Siege of Heaven. They are rubbish here. However, they will help us within our executioner bonus, so you don't go after skulls for points, kind of like with bats on Desolation. You go after skulls for... Oh, I forgot about this last bit. Damn it. This is going to be a rubbish score now. Too busy gassing. I usually do the outside of this first and then head inside. So I think that's the better way. Oh, yeah, I was saying... That was a risky shot. I was saying about summoners and their minions are not worth points. So don't try and farm them. They're not worth anything, be they dead or alive. You need to take those out. You can have that. You can have that. That was way too risky. Hand of God shots on Incubi is a bit of, can be a bit of a godsend, because the headshot, I was just saying, had to think it, didn't I? The headshot should be quite easy on those. You have that. You have that. Damn. The headshot on Incubi is a source of extra points. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. So note as well with Tempest shots how I'm aiming off and a little bit high. And notice that this is what I was talking about with the horizontal and diagonal user. Didn't get a headshot on them, even though that shot should have been on his head. And it was because the lower arrow killed it first before the headshot carried off. So yeah, that wasn't particularly good. So yeah, what I should have done there is not fucking started gassing about this section. I completely forgot about the last bit. And you want to go from the start into the dense bits and then get to the end, which is the dense bit, and then again, because like with with Desolation, it is too... Oh, that'd be fine. It's fine. As long as I didn't start off with many, I don't think. Or did I? No, I didn't lose anything on Gabriel. Yeah, kind of fucked that up. So, as far as this section is concerned, we now want to stop and have a break and have a pause. Go back through the level, see if there was any easy enemies that we can take out. Like there's a Cupid up there, which we might be able to shoot quite easily. See if there's anything left in here that we missed, because there is that guy usually on there that I forget about. This should kill them both. There we go. It gets all of that. It's worth checking up here as well. Enemies love to teleport up here when you're working. And then we're just basically going to have one last sweep and see if there's any enemies that we can easily take, and if we can get the headshot on. Like him I would go for, but I would go from here whilst I'm really nice and close. And that took them both out, which is nice. So notice how that Cupid was worth 68 gold when they're normally worth 50 odd gold. And the reason being is because headshot gold. You get a little bit of extra gold when you land a headshot. Where's that? Down there. You got any friends? When you see them get ready to do the jump, don't shoot them until they've finished, because more often than not, it means that they're going to teleport. That's how you miss those shots. And that looks about it. Now, I can't remember what we finished Gabriel with, but it wouldn't have been... Hang on a second, that's a bit high. Oh no, because we did Paradise Lost, didn't we? So Paradise Lost, we harvested about 74,000. Yeah, three. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Sean? 3 is one more than that fucking heartbeat going off in everybody's ears. So if I can avoid that, then happy fucking days. So, as I've hopefully demonstrated there, because we finished Gabriel on like 75,000, maybe 78,000, because I didn't get a lot of headshots. And through that first section alone, and a lot of that scoring was done here, and I even fucked up the transition to that building there. We probably got, what was that, 78? Probably about 55,000 from one section of Abyss. And again, as I said, if I'd have done better on my transition from here to there, that could have been a lot more. And we should be able to get that again in the next section. But like Desolation, we stop, because the likelihood of you being able to kill everything in here whilst being probably quite deep into a very good executioner bonus and get across all of this nonsense. Because look at it, like, even if you do short bounds or long ones, it still takes like at least 10 to 15 seconds to get across here, if not more than that. I suppose I wasn't going that fast. So you then stop, pause, and have a breather, and don't worry too much about crossing that section quickly. Unlike Desolation, it is very much worth your while having a pause and a breather, because each of these sections are worth, you know, 50, 60, 70k, and it's worth trying to get to the boss as well, because I think killing Asmodeus and getting a fair amount of headshots on things is going to get you about anywhere between about 15 and 25,000 points, and again, that is mainly down to executioner bonus as well, I think. So you should test that, really. I suppose I can test these things. It just takes ages to rooftop hop there. So we've had our breather. We're going to go for you last. We're going to go for you first. And let's see if we can get our score up. That'll help us with these guys. That was a bit risky shooting between them. These I'm just going to flip past and let them explode. It's not even worth... I mean, that I'll cycle the arrow on. It's not even worth trying to cycle the arrow sometimes. That's a second... This one's a... Whoa, I got lucky there. Wanted to get him killed so that he would spread the curse. Be extremely careful with the curse around skulls. They will blow them up very quickly and without any fucking warning, and that will cost you a lot of life. Another thing here as well, if you have the choice between putting all 5 of those in his head or his, well, that's a one-shot KO and that's a one-shot KO. We want to one-shot KO that one because he's only going to take one shot anyway, whereas this guy can take multiple hits. So we're now getting into the finer points of scoring. So that's 1 headshot out of him. That's 2. It's double the score, or I could have just plugged him with that wildfire times 5. Ah, you shitbag. I could have just plugged him with that wildfire times 5, and that would have been... I would have got just the 1 shot for that. Right, let's get past all that. Sod off, sod off, sod off. Let's get into here. Again, barrage of needles. It's only worth 1 headshot. It will insta-KO him and him. But this way we can get multiple... Oh, that's not a bad shout. Ugh. This way we can get multiple headshots out of the enemies that give multiple headshots. I do find that happens quite a lot as well, where you get a headshot on one, you often then get headshots on more in the same group, and I think that's something to do with the amount of damage that you are doing if you hit your shot right. This was not where I was expecting to be, sorry fellas. Let's get up here, deal with you. Tempest for you. Curse of God for you. So that is another thing that I was going to mention as well. Is, yeah, Curse is going to do its job here. Let's move along, because I know there's lots of easy headshots down here, and we are also low on life. Again, same situation here. Put 3 in his head in the hope that we might get an arrow that'll just do a single point of damage. Like this one would be great for him. Oh, don't go through, you prig. Where are the cupids? They're getting cursed. Lovely. Oh, lovely. Damn. It's not what we wanted. Holy Light is not a great one either, but at least we'll get 2 headshots out of it. Keeping the gaze going. Whoa, got lucky there. And... nope. The Holy Light did the good stuff there. I'm not going to fire that up there because I don't want to run the risk of missing. That's a bad arrow to use on him. That's a good one. Hopefully it'll electrocute those sky rats. It did not. 3 headshots out of that guy. Good stuff. Incursion. Not so great because we've got Cataclysm next. There. Divine Sight. Let's try and shoot that off and get some of them. Ooh, and again. This is not the right route. But, never mind. These are nice and close, so I will go for them. Divine Sight. That's an auto-aimed shot for me. And he's exploding, and that one's going to blow up. Can use them to cycle arrows. That's one of their uses, I guess. Haven't been particularly quick or nasty here. Again, I don't want this arrow for you, but there you go. And you're going to get 1 headshot out of him. Might kill some sky rats. Lovely. And with this section, I like to start on one outside and then work my way in. And again, look how much I'm abusing slow time and assessing the situation that I'm in and the garbage arrows that I'm being given. Bastard. Ah! It's all good. As long as you've still got 1 life left, you're fine. No, thank you. Let the curse do its thing in there. Headshot for you. Hail of arrows for you. No cupids? Hey! Ah, yeah. Don't even know how much we scored out of that. Again, there was still a lot of enemies. And it's one of the things that I do find with the tournament as well is even I'm not completing the game, and that's because I'm pushing myself on those earlier levels for score. So what did we finish? Yeah, it just wasn't very good. Yeah, it might be a pleasure, Weaves. It's just not on point at the moment. But it's okay, because on this channel, we always come fully equipped with all the excuses. It's because I'm talking whilst I'm trying to play, and I'm diverting my attention. It's not that at all. I can do that quite easily. I'm just not playing particularly well tonight. But again, this is part of the reason why I try and encourage the leaderboards and why I want people to be scoring higher than me, because it gets me in the mood to push further. There's no point me making that score bigger, and there's no point me making that score bigger. I'll make it bigger if I have to. But yeah. Yeah, probably was carrot. I need carrots. So, what else could we have a look at? So, has anybody got any questions? Has anybody want anything answered in particular, or anything else? Yeah. Yeah, but again, that's the other thing is, when I'm not chatting away, I've got my full concentration on the game. But again, you know, I'm not complaining. I choose to do these streams. I know exactly how it is. No, you cannot borrow that PICO. Sorry, LG. Because by the time I'll get it back, I won't have time to beat your score. Well, I won't even have time to attempt your score. As far as... So the other thing as well I'm finding is I do a lot worse. We should have a look at the crossbow, really, shouldn't we? See how bad my technique is on that. This is one of the other problems that I've found as well recently, is because I've been playing the game a lot with the bow and kind of neglecting the crossbow. And because of how the control, again, remember what I said about all these excuses all lined up waiting? Because of how the crossbow is a little bit more canted, it feels, than even the bow is on the PICO version. So it feels like it aims a lot truer actually than on the Quest version, but I'm used to the Quest where I've got a little bit more of an upward tilt on it. So right, that's a good idea. Let's see if I can recreate what I was doing on the crossbow, but I don't want to go popping off on this. I'll just play it and see how I go. What we like timing wise. Oh, I've only got bloody 40 minutes left. We've got time. Oh, one of the other things that I can't remember if I've covered or not, as I understand it, because I am still in two minds as to whether it's the case or not, getting hit does not affect your executioner bonus. That's what we've been told. I do feel like I need to investigate that, because there's plenty of times where I haven't been hit and I feel like I'm scoring better, but I think it's a placebo effect. I think it's that because I'm not getting hit, it's because I'm doing better. It's because I'm killing faster and killing quicker and dealing with all sorts of things. So let's see what we can get. Now, the other thing as well with the crossbow is technically, I think, because even I was wondering why. Because normally I'd like to think that I can score, definitely, and a lot of other people can score better on the bow than the crossbow scores in this sort of scenario where it comes down to accuracy. Now, I know the guys that are at the top of the leaderboard on the Quest with the crossbows are very accurate at what they do, and they use it more like a pistol and have got great aim. I think the reason why their scores are better is because the teleport arrow moves slightly faster and at the very least is always at maximum power when you fire it. And also the draw side of things on the crossbow is you don't have to pull it all across your body. You just have to literally do that to be able to teleport almost the entire fucking length. Anyway, so again, let's see how we are doing on this level and take stock. So again, orange, I know that there's multiple entrances. There's actually multiple sections on this level. There's one that I keep on forgetting about and dropping a lot of points on from time to time. So, and I will try and remember to go down there, because I don't think I did last time, and we did pretty well score-wise last time as well. So, ball of lightning it is. We'll go for that guy first. We're going to beeline towards the big group of bats over there, and we're going to go past enemies as we get good arrows. That's the arrow that we want, so let's go straight for that group of bats. No, you... Well, I'd say you and me both, but I kind of have to make the time now. So, we're going to kill those. We're going to get them. Head down this way. We want to be heading back this way. He's going to stand stock still whilst he throws his axe. Good news for us. Just get rid of him for now. Note how even I'm not going for as many headshots because my accuracy is just not as good with the crossbow. But I can still get some sort of tune out of it. Look, see? Not happening. It's not happening. We'll let the curse do its job there. Kill the enemy that it's on as quickly as possible. That's... Oh no, curse is still going. We got him quick enough. And up the stairs there might be an enemy or two. Nope. Across here. Straight onto this. Ah, you shitbag. You do not want enemies falling off. There's bats over here, so we'll get those. Ah. And there's bats over here, so we'll get these. And note as well how all of the enemies that I've alerted, especially the... Damn it! Wanted to fire that further away. Especially the monks are chasing after me. And that can be quite a key thing as well, as you're bouncing around the level. And again, note how much I'm using slow time here as well. Oh, we'll put a little one in. And I'm sure he'll be back for tournaments. He won't let me get away with what I did just this tournament. No chance. And one for you. I think we've done most things, and the entrance is right here. You've got to pick your timings to go into the downstairs as well. Don't like that arrow, don't like that arrow, so we'll just body shot. That one we can't go wrong with. That's not bad. That staggers these boys, which should make the headshot easy, but it didn't. Oh, fuck off. So, see, it's exactly the same for me. Just tawnies. Yeah, hopefully we can spur on the old quest to actually get some prize pool together. PICO's got that side of things sorted. Meta's a much bigger company. Why aren't they giving stuff away, eh? So one of the other possibilities as well with the crossbow... Not wrong. One of the other possibilities with the crossbow as well as to why it is fundamentally better scoring than the bow is because you're going to be doing close range shots like I'm doing. Everything is going to be a killing blow, and it's always going to kill them first time. So yes, you will miss out on multiple headshots sometimes, but I think killing quickly and keeping that executioner bonus in those circumstances then becomes a little easier to do. So again, so that wasn't too bad. We only lost, well, technically 1 life, but we also lost our armor. But again, 27,000, that's not bad. Not bad. And there's still some enemies left, which we will kind of slow time. This is what I do when I want to make sure I get the headshot. Teleport right next to, use slow time. You can use slow time with the bow when it's loaded. Point. Fire. And I'm using slow time all between... Oh, bye, mate. See you later. I'm using slow time between every point of that because you can get away with that on the crossbow. You cannot use slow motion whilst you have an arrow loaded on the bow. Yes, yeah. I'd be interested to see his breakdown, actually. I can't remember if he even posted a screen, but I would imagine it would look something along the lines of 50 to 60,000 odd gold, about 150 on headshots, and then probably close to 200,000 in executioner. Mine on the bow... Oh no, it would have been more than that. Mine on the bow was like about 110. No, it would have been about 149 and I think 180 on executioner, because towards the end I was making sure I was getting my headshots and was slowing down a bit because I knew I was having a good game, and that probably wrecked another 10 grand off my score. So again with the crossbow then, again I find the crossbow more difficult than I do the bow, and I think that's more because there's more disciplines that I like playing the bow in than there is the crossbow, i.e. Siege of Heaven. I spend a lot of time in playing Siege of Heaven, or I used to at the very least anyway. So we'll have a little resty. We'll have a look around. Note as well how there are windows that are orange that are almost like a signposting. It's almost like it's been done on purpose, and it's a signposting as to where those downstairs are. Now I know there's a group of bats here, and there's a group of bats right at the back there as well, and that's what I'm going to beeline for. Going to make sure that our executioner has finished, and then we're going to get in there, and again, teleport. For my first kill, I'm going to put it right in his face. So instead of having it at my hip, I put it in his face. Because, well, you can. So why wouldn't you? Volley for you. But yeah, extend your arm out to make sure that you get the headshot. I need good arrow here, please. That is not cutting it. Neither's that. That is also... well, that kind of do. Hello, Momity. Might be a tracking thing. I know people have said similar, but it's... it's not giving us the arrows we need. This is risky because you might miss that shot trying to deploy the poison. The only thing that I can say is... I don't know, what hand do you use it in? Because I suck with using the crossbow in my right hand because I just can't get the reload animation. Can't get the reload motion down properly, which is why I put it in my left. So it's less import... Fucking homing, apparently. Less import on my aiming hand and more import on my loading hand. Ooh, that was a good shot. Shame it didn't get us any points. He'll come back for us, so we don't need to worry about him. We'll crack on. We'll kill some more enemies whilst he is working his way back to us. He's been alerted. He is on his way, I promise. Come round that corner. Come round my corner any time now. Blocking. Oh, good job that went off, wasn't it? Blocking is something that, again, I don't do a lot of because it isn't reliable. However... Oh, didn't even see that arrow. I don't do a lot of because the shield isn't very reliable. However, it is a great way to deal... Ooh, 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 ooh. Ah, you fuck! Oh, it's incredibly easy to miss. Incredibly easy to miss with the crossbow. But also as well, one of the things that I kind of have to apologise for is, like, I have pushed a lot of people to try the crossbow, and I've done so via showing you off the gunslinger method. And the gunslinger method does not help you here because you need to be making use of slow time. And gunslinging does not make use of slow time, or not that technique anyway. So, yeah. And then I've probably also kind of got to apologise for the whole orphan annihilation that a lot of you have been doing on Fletcher. So you've been foregoing practising doing this. I haven't done this on purpose. You've been foregoing practising doing the correct way to play Fletcher in regards of doing it the exploity and cheesy way like I do to try and get a really good score very quickly. And note how the people, because this is the worst part about it as well, the people that are at the top of the leaderboard on Fletcher are the ones that actually play Fletcher properly. Except me, of course. But I'm a very special boy. Very special case. Yeah, practice is definitely a thing, but as I said, a lot of people... the reason why I use the crossbow in my left hand is because that's where I use the bow. And I originally did it because I thought pistol goes in right hand, I want it in the right hand. But as far as the crossbow is concerned, I wanted the crossbow and the bow in the same hand just to keep the controls the same, because if I remember rightly, back in the day, you couldn't switch the sticks, or it wasn't working properly, or it wasn't implemented. So I wanted my movement on the same thing regardless, so I had less to think about when I changed. I want my movement on the left thumbstick and the hand in the same hand as well. So to try and keep everything reasonably similar, I say that works for me. Having to switch hands every time you switch weapons, it almost melts my brain as much as smooth turn does in VR games. So right, let's just have a quick look at what we're dealing with. Yeah, I mean, that is the argument, Sean. I won't feel too bad about it, you know. I can console myself on the fact that I've probably helped one or two people get a bit better at the game, or get scores that they maybe shouldn't have, and get positions that maybe they shouldn't have in, like, a fraction of the time. But yeah, I haven't done you any favours for the tournament, so maybe it was all planned. Maybe that was my plan all along. Make the competition really low level. Although, why would I then be streaming and giving all the techniques? So, there you go. Silver Tongue Devil. Seen it here first. Right. That's probably long enough. Let us have a look at our score. We're doing, 30,000 on that last section and 27 on the section before, so that's not too bad. Again, so I want to dive straight in, kill that guy. Ooh, hello. Oh, fucking missed. Fucking hell. Note as well how I haven't been wounded by that arrow yet, and the reason being is because it hasn't landed. Now it's landed. That flew well off into the ether, and it can take an even longer amount of time for that to happen to you with the bow. So if you are getting hit and you don't know why, you've definitely missed at some point, I would say. Right, let's pop that into there. Now let's go back for the bats. Yeah, just home in, would you? Try and outrace those guys. Blocking with the shield can be quite effective, but again, I don't like relying on it, and I haven't relied upon it ever, so it's not something that I've worked into the game. Go on, yes. It's not something that I've worked into my game. However, it is a great way to actually deal with abominations, because you can block them and then they stagger all over the place. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, there's a guy. Still hear the curse doing its work, which is good. Yep, still doing its work. So this should be quite decent scoring, actually, because the curse is doing its work and finishing off all of the enemies down there. I like this area. It never comes up. Let's get that guy. Oh! Damn. That was the worst hail of arrows shot ever. Curse may spread. Nope, I think we missed that. Damn it. And then quickly back up the top again, just in case we're still in our executioner bonus. Quickly, 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 because there might be a couple of enemies that we might be able to lose some life on. Like, so that's that. Oh yeah, there is a few enemies around the outside here. That is a technique. I'll demonstrate it on the last one, or if I find. There's an abomination when you need one. I think that's all she wrote here. See, we're actually doing better on life. But again, we're only one catastrophe away from we're doing shit again. So... Oh, I hear some bats. Have they got stuck underneath? There's one. So, one of the techniques that you could use on abominations, if you are concentrating on headshots and not worried too much about the executioner side of things, which I think is the wrong way round to think about it. You'd be better off killing quickly and getting less headshots than getting a lot more headshots and killing slowly. But both of those scores would work out eventually, but you just want to be doing both. One of the things that you could do if you were trying to concentrate on headshots, though, is a technique that I like to do with the shield on abominations. Because as I said, I find abominations one of the hardest ones to get the headshots on. They're easy. They do that Fonzie thing, and it gives you all the time in the world to shoot them in the face. Just like Fonzie. So, with these, one of the things that I do with the shield, once you attract their attention, regardless of the attack that they're going for, they are unique in that you can hit them and it will stagger them even though they are in an animation. You can't do that with some of the animations that some enemies have, and then that'll put them to the floor. So what I'm doing is not only am I blocking, but I'm also slamming the shield down on them. And if you get the timing right on it, which I'm usually pretty good at, if you get the timing right on them, you knock them to the floor at the same time as defending. But even just a shield swipe on these guys will knock them to the floor, accepting that. And then what you can do is you can line up the headshot and make it an easy kill. Execution style. Right, let's try and score, shall we? What's up? Hey! Hey! Of course I am. I am 40 years young, I will have you know. Because I know good TV when I see it. I used to watch Happy days all the time. Back on Channel 4. Back in the day. Channel 4. Where are you going? I was only young, though. And I only watched it for Fonzie because he was cool as fuck. I think. Can't think of any other characters. Better get you on the way out, hadn't I? So again, here we're going to go after knights. We're going to go after... I mean, yeah, it's pretty old. I'm going to go after knights and archers here. Again, note how I am tapping the slow motion to allow the enemies to get where I want them. Yeah, that was pretty rare, actually. Weebs, you're not wrong. See if I can get that in, and then that'll probably blow them all up. Lovely. Except one. There's always one. See you later, fellas. Let's do you normally. Change that arrow to something else. So one of the techniques that I do... Ooh, dirty rally. One of the things that I do find with Divine Sight is... Ooh, headshots. You can sometimes force Divine Sight into giving you headshots. And a few of you have seen me do this, where you fire the arrow like that and try and lift it at the last second. I find that used to be a little bit more reliable on the crossbow than it was on the bow for, excuse me, getting headshots. But there we go. Are you actually streaming tonight, Indy? I'm about ready to come off now. I'll come watch you play some Gran Turismo if you're rallying. Dirt Rally is what got me onto sim racing as far as PSVR 1 was concerned. And I bought... Have I actually got it in? I might actually have it in my room. Hang on. I bought a shitty little desk, which I then like made a little frame to attach the pedals to the bottom of, and then latched it all onto the shitty little desk, and really got me into sim racing. It was really good. Right, let's see if I can. So again, shot slow time, load shot slow time, load shot slow time, repeat. Getting a Hand of God is ideal. And when you start, if you get a Holy Light as well, be very careful, because he's very much likely to die, because your Holy Light within the first cycle of the game is normally going to be the broken version, or can be. Yeah, put it. Put a stream up. Mate, I love racing games. There's just no racing games on standalone. Or there's one, but I've seen it and I fear that it would make my eyes absolutely bleed. So I don't get into that. I mean, yeah, I think that's about it. Okay. Well, to be fair, the people that are going to come over are going to come over anyway, now that they know. So, but I'll in that case then we will do a little bit more. Whilst I'm just actually no, I can't even do that. Tell me when it's set up, Indy, and I'll do the old redirect. I do wonder if it helps the old analytics and helps the old bits and pieces. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Doing my bit for the good of YouTube. Yeah, PC. Yeah, I have looked into it. I enjoy watching Mac play racing games. Cheers, LG. I enjoy watching Mac play racing games. I really like watching Indy play racing games as well, or GT7. It looks really good. I ain't got time for that game, if I'm honest, though. It's an absolute... It looks like a massive time sink, and I would lose myself in that game. Really would. Love to get bunny boiled by Sarah and Luca stalking me at the cafe. Can't wait. Sounds so good. So yeah, again, if anybody has any questions, whether I've covered them or not, or anything that I haven't been clear on, or anything like that, please ask. Paradise Lost. I've got to be careful here. Got to be careful here. Step. Oh, you little shit. We actually did really well on Desolation. Like, for instance, if I start pushing a little bit... Oh, there you go. Now it's all going to shit. I got hit by a red knight. One of the things about Paradise Lost as well is depending on the enemy set that you get, because there are enemy sets that include more knights and less cupids. Like, I'm on it now. So not only are we doing alright for score, we're doing very good on life. Get that feather out your face. We need to keep moving here. Thought I'd missed that. So this would be a particularly good run, I think, but I don't want to push the scores up much more than they're at the moment. But this could be a really good run if I pushed it. But again, we're getting late in the day now, and even I wouldn't try and do... If I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't have played the game without a break for this long. And it's just because... Get out! It's just because... You... Shield... You... It's just because, like everybody else, I've only got so many good games in me, and I don't want to waste them. You I can get reasonably risk-free. You're next. There's another. Hopefully all of these effects that I'm firing at these knights point blank are doing something to the cupids. That curse should go up top and do some damage. Ooh, 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 ooh. Damn, that didn't go off as planned. Oh, you little shit. Never block those, always get out of the way. Look how quickly this has turned to pants. And it's all because I had the audacity to say this is turning out like it's going to look like a good run. Had to say it, didn't I? Had to say it. Yeah, I'm already getting the try-hard comments, and it's like, keep on getting the, oh yeah, look at the try-hard at the top. It's like, I'm not even trying hard. But I am trying to be gracious in my victory, so I shouldn't say things like that. But it is a bit of a foregone conclusion. One of the things that I do keep on saying, though, across all of these boards is that there are prizes for the PICO tournament, and I will be foregoing mine. At the moment, as stands, I am on for 4 free PICO games and a 50%, 2 50% coupons, I think it is. Oh, you're going to get blown up. And I'm giving it all to whoever comes in second place. So second is the new first. And the reason why I am doing this is not out of generosity. I don't need free games, and I don't want to take them off of anybody else. However, I do need first because legend points, right? I want all the legend points. You can have the games, you can have all the good stuff, but you can't have my legend points. Let's... I think some people as well have thought my score is cumulative. Ooh, good shot, sir. I'm not getting any of the good arrows. Oh, what, you're 6th? Are you, Weebs? You need to get back on having done this. I hope I've inspired you and Mac. Oh, I was expecting Mac to be here tonight. I put this one on specially on for him. Nice. But yeah, you just need to get up to 4th and you'll be in the prizes, mate. That's all you need to do. Right, I don't want to be too competitive here. Oh, fuck. Oh, I've accidentally got my score higher. Shit. I did want to see how well I could push this. Ooh. Not by doing things like that. Again, look at the travel time on that. Now it hits me. Now it hits me. Few more headshots there. Lovely. Shouldn't risk that shot. And again, this is why I keep the range really, really close and don't go for shots like that. Because then you don't lose loads and loads of fucking life. Well, you say that, Cynthia. Thing is, I was basically at 100 and... So what I should do now is go straight on to the next section. Oh, go on, let's get it up to 150,000 just to keep it competitive, shall we? 1, 2... The quickest way to do that is like this. Nights You Said Me surprised me one morning by putting his score up. I didn't think he was going to have time to play, if I'm honest, because I would expect him to put a very good early score in and then probably not play it again. That's what he usually does. This is Rick Best, by the way. He's one of the, as I said, one of the top players of IDU. And he... Go and have a look at his channel as well. It's called Nights He Says Me. And he's got a very good... If you're into rap, he's got a particularly good song. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. He's got a particularly good song on his YouTube channel that's with a lot of very cool action. This is not a place to be in. A lot of very cool action of IDU. So, yeah. Let's see. Kill you. Do that. Never check your score when you're playing properly as well. You don't need to. It's not going to improve by looking at it. It's like the watched pot that never boils. Stop it! Just like with the timer. Oh, has... Oh, for fuck's sake. Hang on 2 seconds. Cheers, Weebs. On it. Oh, this is where I do all my cheating. Hang on. Doing it. It's the only problem that PICO has at the moment. And I don't... Ow. And I don't know why it does it. I also need to change that back to that. There we go. Get that out of the way. Sorted. Okay. Where were we? Oh, for fuck's sake. Cheers. That's one of the problems as well. Well, actually, yeah, I'm too used to the Oculus version. Normally when you've got that menu up, it pauses the game. Not in PICO. I needed that menu up. I pressed the wrong button. Oh yeah, it's the thing that I complain about the most. Problem is, it's not PICO Live's fault. It's hey, give me the rest. Maybe it hasn't updated. There we go. No, that run was going great. Maybe they know, but again, I don't want to push my score up too high because I don't want it to go into the realms of, you know, people not being able to compete. Right, so there you go. Tournament. That's how you do it. That's how you score well. Remember which button's your pause button on PICO. This has been In Depth Unchained. I have been Silver Tongue Devil. Good night.